give you negative 17 dB. How about that? You like that?
Negative 17?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, you're
coming in hot.
Yeah, very much.
And you just can barely get rid of it. Those some fingers.
This is episode 5, so I'm reminding myself it's episode 5.
There is nothing that I just wouldn't say normally. So it is all types of good.
Before we even really start, I mean, I figured I could just at least have a quick chat with you because
sure,
I know we really haven't gotten to talk too terribly much. So,
no, just in text mostly.
Thanks for being awesome and actually like agreeing to do this, because that was one of my YouTube's a weird space.
Just take the 4 roses.
Easy enough.
And nothing wrong with 4 roses. I mean, I just have my emergency scotch, as I normally do.
Emergency scotch?
Yeah, I got this bottle is emergency scotch. This bottle always gets like the only 2 people who have made me delve into the emergency scotch while recording were Carolina and Mara twice.
Ooh, yeah.
So
I did find my long lost archive recording of Carolina, so I'm hoping to get that out there. And I actually think one of the was the original Flesh and Pod gentleman that you'd mentioned that was in that photo. Was he also at Indianapolis, and did he open an alpha box?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so I found that footage. I have that somewhere too.
Oh, nice.
I had a hard drive fucking shit out on me, and I lost stuff for like 6 months to a year. And then I found a tertiary hard drive that was like on a shelf, and I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, I actually have a copy of it. So storage has been a massive problem for me because video takes a lot of storage. And I'm learning that I love OBS more and more because the video files are like 2 to 3 gig versus when I'm recording with the overhead cameras and this setup, right? Like a typical 30-minute or 50-minute recording could be anywhere from about a gig a minute to all the way up to, like, I'm not doing 4K, I'm just doing 1080, but it's just such high quality because it's, camera equipment.
Yeah.
This is what I use when I go around to, film, conventions. It's just...
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
it's a lot of space. So.
I get it. So we use Squadcast for what we do, mainly because we are South Park levels of edit, don't give a fuck type of thing, because it's record and get it out. Like there's no fucking lead time.
Well,
it just has to get done.
That's the piece I'm starting to come to the conclusion of. So I have finally passed the 500 subscriber mark after 2 years, which cool. Like that's.
I mean, we don't even have 500 subscribers. So
no, I remember you guys talking about that, which is kind of intriguing to me.
It boggles people's minds every time. Like, wait, what? Like, yeah, mainly because I don't try to farm it. I don't do anything else. And every little stitch of anything we've ever done has been purely organic. Thanks for all the support, people. But God damn it, just click the fucking button. I mean, that's all I want you to do. Yeah, it's like there are a bunch of Discords out there that people are like, oh, it's in this Discord. I'm like, I'm not in that Discord. Like, why aren't you in that Discord? Do I want to be? Like, what? Why does it matter to me? And a lot of it is just, well, it's because that's where everybody is. But what does that do for me? I don't.
100%.
I have this list of Discords I'm in right now. I've got a local Star Wars Unlimited one. There's our Discord for Flesh and Pod. There's the Dead Alpha Clash podcast.
I'm in 100 Discords right now, which I think.
I am not. I didn't. No way. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm in. The Iowa Flesh and Blood Discord. Then I have Discords with friends, and then I have the Arclight League, and then
so where
my
in the
wife
US
built
are
one.
you, by the way? Everyone's talking about the meta is horrible, but I think the best, rotation is like about 2 years is Magic and everything else, and the average so far has really been about 2 years, minus the exception of like Starvo. So,
right. And it seems when when there's a hero that's blitzing the boards, they have a giant shot up. And then they drift back down when new heroes get introduced. Usually they don't stay at the top. KO's a good example. Like he was in
that's a real good example.
The pole position, just rocket strapped to ass. But
yeah, basically.
It lasted for a season and then slowly sank back down. Some of that, I think that he definitely could have found more market share if Dromai just would have been gone, because that was a hard matchup for KOs. But honestly, I don't know. Like, right now, I think that we're in a good spot personally. The data that Vishra gave us, as far as how quickly Zen was going, was definitely a yes, something needed to be done, and quite evident.
And just for sake of argument, we're at 83 degrees right now. It's gone up.
Fuck that.
Gone up 5 degrees by the time of me.
It's
sitting here.
it's like 67 up here. It's gorgeous.
Man, I would run the air conditioner, but it like eats up all of the usable sound profile. So.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so like when this house was built, it was built as a 1-story with a basement, because I live in the Midwest, you have to have a fucking basement. And whoever bought it after the original owners then added a 2nd story.
Okay.
And which is weird as hell. But
that is odd.
Yeah, the ventilation that was added, when they stretch the ventilation, it's terrible. And the quotes we've had to like come through and redo it and stuff like that have been like in the 20 to 30 grand range.
Oh, easy.
It's
it's stupid.
Or I spend like $300 on a window air conditioner and call it a day.
Heck yeah, I got window a floor unit over here. That's literally all that's air conditioning in this room is just a floor unit. So.
And so, the window unit that's up here, I have to turn off anytime I record. Otherwise, it's just this fucking god awful background hum, and you just can barely get rid of it. Those are some fingers.
This is episode 5, so I'm reminding myself it's episode 5.
Oh, this is 5. Okay, gotcha.
I forgot the title of what I named the podcast last time, and I had to like look it up because I was like, what the f did I name this thing? Oh,
what did you name it?
So.
What did you name the podcast?
It's called Geek Speak, because that's
right.
That's real original, right? Like it's.
I saw that, yeah, and I was just like, okay, well, at least it plays into the name a bit, because you posted episodes in our Discord because we have the other content channel. Yeah,
a little trying to do a little drum up of stuff. So
no, that's a good idea. And I've gotten asked a lot of times the whole, why do you have a spot for other people to put content in your channel? It's like, why wouldn't I?
Because rising tides, raise all ships. Okay, so this is a great way to start, because I always kind of love the whole, just drop in and kind of introduce the episode. But, in general, if a lot of the new people that are coming in have no idea about the game and they find one content creator, they're going to find other content creators. So getting everyone together, kind of RIP the Chadcast, right? Like, I know he sunsetted that, but I thought that was a great thing, and this is almost in my way of kind of a spiritual successor to that, because, it's nice to be able to have these other areas of ideas that I just don't have. Like, I don't have some of the experiences that others have, or knowledge, frankly, because I'm not a competitive player, so I can't really speak to the competitive side.
What we do is I tried to describe what kind of podcast we were, and every time that I would come up with something, Charm would be, that's not what we fucking are. I have to say something else.
Elevator
pitch. And then
pitch.
Charm would say, that's not what we fucking are either. Shit. Okay. What about this? No, we're just 2 fucking idiots on the internet.
Everybody wants to draw boxes around everything. Cardboard rectangles is an example for that, right? They want to put everything in these Venn diagrams, but nothing ever really fits in a Venn diagram in life. Kind of.
I got a couple.
All right, well, welcome to episode 5 of Geek Speak, and I have the esteemed, I have the privilege of, I would say, the OG, longest-running podcast in the Flesh and Blood.
Not longest.
Oh, not longest.
Don't get longest.
Most consecutive?
We are behind. Yes.
Okay,
we have the iron record.
The iron record.
But both of Fresh and Buds and Arsenal Pass have been around longer than we have.
Well, this is Logan. Logan, thank you for joining. Logan, where I'll start at the beginning here. Where can people find you on the internet? Because people only have a 30-second attention span. So
that's true.
Once they click off, how can they go find you and hit subscribe on your channel?
So search Flesh and Pod on YouTube and hit the fucking subscribe button, for fuck's sake. We're going to go past episode numbers to subscriber count. That's not fucking cool. We have plenty of listens. This shouldn't be that hard. But yeah, whatever. Here we are. Flesh and Pod. That's where for 136 consecutive weeks, you've been able to find me talking shit on the internet. And I would say I wouldn't have it any other way, but I have lost hair, gained gray hairs, I have an ulcer, and the drinking habit has not gotten any better because of this stupid fucking show, or just because of life in general. Either way.
Amen to the drinking habit. That's
Well,
been my staple on this one. We're picking. I kind of got two traditions at this point. It's packs and drinks. So at this point, it's kind of a little. I'm on episode. Well, like I said, we're on the finger.
5.
We're about to round another hand, and
Get a thumb.
Most people don't recognize how complicated logistics are in this industry. Like, just trying to keep a schedule, because not only can you do it right at the last minute if you really want to, but to be completely honest, if you record even, let's say, an hour and a half podcast, and then you have to go upload it to a computer from a file, then you got to have it at least ingested into something with a couple of graphics. That has to get output. Then you have to upload it to YouTube. God forbid that YouTube doesn't have a fucking conniption fit with it. And then it has to upscale that. So you're talking 4 to 5 hours between when you're done to when it's able to hit the publish button, bare minimum. Is that a fairly accurate
that's about
statement?
right.
Yeah.
And we also do an audio version that pushes out to RSS feeds. So that's the least complicated. I can usually get the audio version of the podcast edited while Charmer's in the middle of his Midwest goodbye.
Yeah.
So I'll have it downloaded and in audio editing software and done and pushed to our platform. We use Spreaker, but have it pushed to Spreaker before Charmer has quit fucking talking. Because he's definitely the no you hang up type, and it gets it gets annoying sometimes, but it's also just adorable. He's just the cutest little button.
Yeah, at some point I'd love to bring him on for a
dear God,
stint as well, and see if we can go for 24 hours, right? I mean, that would be probably. I'm just kidding. I know you said there's no time limit today, but I mean, obviously we're gonna try to curb it a little bit here.
Yeah, not to name drop, I guess, but when we had Joshua Scott on before we ever started recording, he gets on, and the first thing he says is not, "Hello, how are you guys doing?" Anything else? He's like, "What's the record for longest episode?" And I'm like, "Okay, I think it's 245." He's like, "We can break that."
Yep.
And it was 312, and that was edited 312, so the recording was longer.
I'll be honest. I have a spreadsheet. I know I was saying I was finding a bunch of spreadsheets earlier. I like data, and I originally, I guess I'll go ahead and I'll do my Fantastico auto magic here. Whoop! There we go. I'm
there
small. So you hopefully can see this on the screen here. I don't know if it's backwards or right way for you, but I was trying to attempt to do the list of podcasts in the Flesh and Blood world, and I was going to do a little scoop on each one. I had a whole document written, and by God, let me tell you, there are a lot of fucking podcasts. Like there are tons, and they're all pretty damn good. And some of them, at the time, right, M&R had actually stopped. So like when I was doing this, the X's over here were the ones that I had actually wrote data for. And I stopped because at this point, the video, when I started looking at the timeline for how I would edit it, was going to be like a 4-hour-long video just to talk about the podcasts. So it was definitely too much. But as an example, this was like the episode count, and this was, their URL and all sorts of stuff. It's amazing. And even since then, some have come into the scene after that. And obviously these numbers have continued to go up. So like, as if I find you on here, right? So where's where
you have us at 109. It looks like. Yep, there we are.
Yep. So you're at what today?
136. Yeah.
So if I subtract that was give or take about 25.
That was a half a year ago. That was 6 months ago.
Is when I started this project, and I was like, nope, we're just going to go ahead and give up on that idea because it was just fundamentally not plausible as a video option. But I'm glad that like sites like Fabrary and others are starting to do a little bit something similar where it's a text-based version of that. I don't have to explain things because, I mean, once you start explaining the same different podcast, everyone's going to talk about news and things like, oh, the character of Logan is like this. The character of Charmer is like this. And
Chat GPTing me is not something that anybody should ever do. It's like Googling Rule 34 in Pinocchio. That's going to be a dick nose. Whatever you do, you're going to get a dick nose, and you shouldn't do that. And same thing as Googling me in general. Just no Google, no Chat GPT me. It's just a bad idea.
Yep. Yeah, it's probably a pretty solid suggestion there. So I don't remember. I've watched almost every one of your episodes, but because they all blend together, when
Dick.
the well,
I get it.
it's a lot of content.
I know.
I literally was probably again about that 6 months ago to do this. Right, I was listening to every podcast, so I was spending 50 hours a week listening to stuff, and I was just my mind was shot. Because it's like, at what point is like, who said what, which episode had which, and it's like, okay, this isn't helpful. So my question for you is, how long have you been in Flesh and Blood?
I started in Flesh and Blood in August of 2021, late July, mid July, 2021.
So would that be before
So-
Monarch or right at Monarch?
It would have been Monarch was out, and but pre Aria. So the first time I ever played Flesh and Blood was a buddy of mine. He sent me a message and said, "Have you heard of Flesh and Blood?" I've heard of it. I was a Magic player and a Magic vendor, a lot of different things. And I was like, "I've heard of it. Haven't interacted with it. Can't find the cards." And he's like, "Does anybody play locally?" I'm like, I don't know. Let me find out. Let me Google that for you. So I pop on, find in my LGS that there is a Flesh and Blood night, and saw that it was that night. I was like, let's just go. I'm sure that they have like demo decks or something that we can just learn the game, whatever. Show up. Yep. Ira demo decks. Learn the game. And then the people that were there said, well, we're doing a draft tonight if you want to draft with us. Now, that's just music to my ears. Draft, I'll always draft. You can't stop me from drafting. You say draft, I'm drafting. And regardless of the game, I'll draft shitty games. I'll draft X-Files. I'll draft Rage. I'll draft fucking Lorcana. But so my first ever experience was drafting Welcome to Wraith.
Okay.
Which is a top 5 draft set of all time in any game, in my personal opinion. And so it was immediately like, oh, this is sick. I went 2-1 playing Dorinthia, and it's like, okay, I kind of like this game, and started delving into it after that. And the first deck, I've told this story 1,000 times, but in case anybody hasn't heard this, the first deck I ever built was Chain. Seeds of Agony, go fuck yourself, Chain. I spent the money to build the deck, got everything in, got it together, was getting ready to take it to tournaments and take it to events and shit like that. And then Seeds of Agony gets banned.
Okay.
Before I ever take it out. Like I played it. I never played the sleeved up version with no proxies once before Seeds of Agony was banned.
That's
and
nice.
So I looked at the game like, okay, I've got 2 paths here. I can either say, fuck this game, and I'm never playing this again. We clearly know that didn't happen. Or
Obviously,
I am going to own a playset of every card ever printed so that this can never fucking happen to me again.
the preacher preaches the truth, and we'll circle back to that later.
Yeah, and so that's what I did, is up through, I stopped at Dusk Till Dawn, is when I just said, I looked at the set and went, illusionists are cops, and I'm not super, oh, it's a good puppy, and I'm not super interested in, playing Shadow Brute, and Vincent is fine, but I can just acquire just the Vincent cards. So Dusk Till Dawn was the first time that I just didn't collect play sets of the entire set.
Sorry, my little.
You're good. That's a great puppy.
Love buddy decides.
Yeah, I'm in. Dogs are the best. I fucking love dogs. But up to Dusk Till Dawn. So through Outsiders, is that right? I have every card that's been printed. I have a place to have every card that's been printed, and I think I even have heavy hitters I have completed. It gets harder once the expansion slots started happening.
Well, okay, so yeah, let's just jump the ship and go down that path because so there's these videos going around right now, which is not a topic I was originally going to talk about, but we'll go with it, which is the whole pimp my collection from Flesh and Blood, right? The look at what
Sure.
I have YOLO Dick Award, which to some extent I respect, but like at the same time, it's like I don't want to say I'm a private person because I'm not. Obviously, I'm doing things online, but
Right.
at a certain point, I know I have things and I enjoy those things, and I have a shtick. Like my shtick is I collect crack baubles. I have people sign crack baubles,
Yeah.
and I collect those names and I have them in a binder. For better or for worse, that was what I did. And, I could have gone after higher end whack cards and things like that, but I didn't. And I chose to go for something that, to me was interesting. So another example, things that you may or may not know, but I went like completely neck deep in what I thought was going to be the gold mine, the penny stocks of Flesh and Blood, which is the
Oh,
cardboard commons and rares. So whether that will pan out long term, I have no idea. But I will say, at least from a perspective of being able to play, if I seen you in person, I could hand you a USPS flat rate 6,000 count box and say, let's build a deck, right? You get everything in this box, just build whatever the fuck you can build. Like, here you go. And it's exciting because as games have died, which later we'll come to with one of the tasks that I'd like to accomplish today, I have games that are dead and gone, but I have enough of that game to functionally, as an example, you get a treat, by the way.
oh, there we go.
To be able to function and play. If someone were to say, I want to jam this game, I could be like, hey man, here's 1,000 cards from that game. Let's have fun. Let's remember and relive the past, because that to me is something that I was really big into. Another example, which is not really a
You
CCG.
want OTSD?
I have a box of those in the back room, actually. That's...
Do you want to play Enhanced Premiere?
Fuck yeah.
You can
I
do
have
that
I have a
too.
couple of those sealed. See, I see that you were playing SWCCG at one point. I think I've seen it in the background, so I figured this would be a fun segue. I mean, I don't have any reflections pack anymore. I can't give you that fun, dopamine hit.
I got those in there too.
Oh, you got reflections packs? Wow.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
opened all mine a long time ago like a dum-dum, so.
Reflections 2, I think.
One of my goals with that game was to collect one of every pack, which I thought was obtainable, and then I realized that I had opened too much and that I wasn't going to spend the big money. So I said, no, I learned my lesson as I destroy my backdrop. That's fantastic.
Yeah, whatever.
I learned my lesson, and I will not be having that happen again.
I still have one of those.
But inside of this, after I blind the audience and caution, boulders,
Very
it's not
bright.
safe. Yeah. Here, I'll go to my, what is this, Cam 5. This is my, for Flesh and Blood, living pack collection, which includes, mind you, some what I'd refer to gems that people don't typically talk about, which is the Belgium WTR versus the Japanese WTR. Things that like collectors understand, but the typical audience doesn't care about, or, as an example, First and Unlimited. And then when you get into the box world, you have like, the Japanese boxes versus Belgium boxes, things like that. So that's been a big, I'm not making a mistake this time. As I've been going along, making something so that I don't have the oops, so that when we hit year 10, I can go to an event with, as an example, people like you, and we can all reminisce together and have a blast, because it's not like those are going to be sealed forever. Like,
No.
It's like this. This is not going to be sealed forever, but I don't want to open it when everybody's opening it right now. Screw it. Like, I bought the card for $15 because no one gives a shit. But yeah.
Yeah, but like, because back behind me on top of this curio cabinet full of Transformers and not a me thing and stuff like that, there's 2 cases of WTR, 1 Belgian. There you go. That's a good one. One Belgian and 1 Japanese. There's 2 cases of Everfest. There's a couple cases of Crew. A case or 2 of Arcane. Like, they're just up there, and they're not there as a look at me investing. They're up there because at some point in time, I'm gonna draft that shit.
And that's the thing, right? If you have it now, you paid today's prices.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't want to know the price I paid on some of it, but like paying $40 a box for Everfest was the best. But
I missed that boat, sadly.
Oh, I actually just did that this week. So that boat is not gone. You can still find it.
Really?
Yeah. And
The alchemist potions prevail.
it's yeah, you open like a swing big and you basically have paid for a box.
Let's just say this. I had so much bulk that I felt bad for myself because I'm like, I don't have shiny things. So I went to TCG Player and I said, let's spin the roulette wheel because I was trying to gamble with a little bit of money and I knew I was going to lose it anyways. So I said, I want cold foils. So you know what I did?
You bought potions.
I searched reverse because no one does buy the lowest, cheapest, crappiest cold foil. I bought $100 in cold foils, and that's what I got.
Shitty. Yeah. Just dog shit. Frontline plating right at the front, just where it belongs.
But you know what's funny? One day, right, in some distant future, it may be fun, and I'll already have it, and I won't have to dick with it.
Yeah, and you know, it's as a Kasai simp, my Kasai, like, if you look at my Kasai equipment, because the Warrior fridge has always been described that way because cold foils, refrigerator.
Oh yeah.
So obviously I have to have cold foil Balance of Justice, cold foil Crown of Providence, cold foil Courage of Bladehold, cold foil Grains of Bloodspill, cold foil Brave Forge Bracers, cold foil Iron Song Resolve, and cold foil Valiant Thrust, Valiant Dynamos, and cold foil Sabers.
See,
and a Marvel Kasai.
That's where I think I've fucked up a little bit. I probably could own some of those nicer, higher end cold foils.
Oh yeah.
But instead, I'm sitting on boxes of, bulk because I had ideas that I could do things. And I think the idea is still there, but the latest min-max post has me a little concerned, actually. Have you seen that Twitter?
Oh, yeah.
Because, okay, I'm going to talk about that for a second.
Things. Hold on. Yeah, here we go.
Because
this is also a fun one.
What is it?
Hold on. So this is a CGC graded Rhinar token.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
CGC 10 Rhinar token.
10.
But it's the XXX tokens.
Oh yeah,
that they gave out at the first event.
I haven't seen very many of those, and even when I look through bulk, occasionally I do find some crazy stuff. I found some WTR Alpha pink strip stuff, but I have not found stuff like that. Like that, those are the things that I, as a collector, because I guess I'm a little bit of everything, right? I mean, I guess everybody is if you play the game, but
that you should be.
I recently just am working on, and this is part of one of the other videos that'll be in the podcast right before this. I've been working on a entire History Pack 1 set, which sounds silly to most people, but when you think about it, that it's going to actually, this number is going to scare people. For me to finish that set out, especially with some of the legendaries that I need, it's over $500 in order to me complete a white border set. Think about that.
Yeah.
Like, people shit on History Pack all the time. And that, again, is that whole joke of seeing that min-max photo of that dumpster where they want everyone to meme it or, like, quote it. And I'm like, I don't understand if that's, like, they're actually throwing those away. Like, I legitimately at some point want to know if that was truly... Yeah. Now, why would they do that is my question.
That is all History Pack bulk.
But at a certain point... that will be useful for something unless they have...
warehouse space that pallet was taking up is worth more
to them.
Than the potential that they could get out of that cardboard by taking it to events and shit like that.
Correct. Now that I agree with. That 100% agree with. Me, because I live in the Midwest and space is not really a premium, not like New York or whatever. Free. I have a 720 square foot garage out in the back that I've just, boxes stacked ceiling to, 10-foot high ceiling. I can just stack UPS boxes there for the next 5 years. And then at some point, if it really boils down to it, I can just put it as a, let's have a bonfire night, right? I'm going to look through it as I throw it away because I found foils in these things. I mean, there's all sorts of crap in these, right? But...
like, I was going through a stack on my desk just right before this call. If you don't see this, these are all Good Deeds promos.
I need more of those, actually. That's so...
found a grip of them.
Oh, my gosh. You know why I need more of those? Because when you said...
give away?
When you said you collected a play set of things... what is a play set in Flesh and Blood to you? Because I have a number that most people will disagree with.
So a play set should be 5. You need 3 for CC and 2 for Blitz.
Okay.
Or if it's a piece of equipment, you need at minimum 2.
I think a play set is somewhere between the ballpark of 14 to 20.
That's a lot.
But here's why. And here's a good riddle for you. What would make you think I would need a playset that big?
Why would you need a playset that big? Well,
and it's not even if the card is expensive. Like, I know I'm not going to really get 15 to 20, Command and Conquers. I might have, let's say 8. That's probably where I'm at.
6.
But like, okay, I can get 20 of a common, but why would any person deem they would want to have that, especially in the long run, as this game is a system that will exist for a very long time. And it's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever, where, they might reprint some cards, but at a certain point, the old ones are the preferred ones to have.
Sure. Why would a playset be 14 to 20? Unless you're building like a roulette wheel of decks or a cube or multiple cubes. Those are about the only things I can think of.
So what format can have 4 people go head-to-head?
It's UPF.
So UPF, if you go UPF CC, which they haven't released, or I'm thinking PvE is where I'm really going with this. 3 for CC of 4 players is 12.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, I have 3 for my regular CC deck that's not a UPF style deck. I have 2 for my Blitz deck. I have 2 for my binder collection, one that's foil and one that's non-foil. And then I believe I have 1. So that would be 3, 6, 9, 12, 31, 15, 16, 17, 18 is, I think, the number. Which, again, sounds absurd.
Well, I mean, it is. But it like, for me, it would be absurd. Because at no point am I going to be under any expectation with any of the people I play with to furnish all the decks.
That is true.
And so if that's the case, if I know that I'm never going to be under the pressure to furnish all the decks, then I don't need that level. What I do need is enough for me and potentially one other person. And if you do remove the higher end cards, I probably can cover the 14 of most cards.
Then I would say 6, maybe 6 would be, because 3 for CC for 2 players is 6.
Yeah, sure.
So that makes.
And then you're furnishing 2 decks.
Yeah, it's just intriguing because I'm really waiting for PvE. I know I'm not going to beat that dead horse. I know that everyone's been talking about it. I mean, there's even a video somebody came out with recently where they were basically saying, I'm going to stop doing Flesh and Blood because I was promised PvE, and I was like, no, dude, you really weren't promised PvE. It was said it's coming, but like, I think there was.
In a very George R.R. Martin way, it was said it's coming. Yeah, it's
Game of Thrones. Winter is coming, but it's next season.
The Winds of Winter has been being written since George W. Bush was president, for fuck's sake. So there's been an entire generation of humans born in that amount of time. And no, PvE was never promised to anybody.
I'm going to stop grabbing shit from behind me now. This is the PvE from Techlocore or Techlocro.
And how'd they do? Like, did they...
Well, that's been the funny part. I haven't found anybody willing at this point. I'll clean that up later. That's fun.
Yeah.
I haven't found anybody willing to actually play this. So that gets into the reason I have had to restructure my expectation of Flesh and Blood locally. So if you are unaware, I am from Indianapolis, Indiana. Home of Gen Con, home of a lot of very interesting things. But what it's not home to is not CC Armory Nights.
Right.
And the thing is, I really want to do UPF. I want to do more of the social play. I'm definitely more in, like, not Commander, I guess. When I used to play, Magic the Gathering, I was a degenerate. I played like Tendrils of Agony, Storm, Type 1, let's just sit down and have a non-game, which, was probably a bad taste in
you use the term Type 1. That means you're fucking old, too.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the other thing, right? Like, when I played 5-color Magic, it was, your cards were not in sleeves. They were disgusting.
250 cards, baby.
They were like, at some point I will text you a photo of the old Lotus I used to own, and the back on it, if nothing else, I did not care that the front was a Lotus. The patinaed back, where you had this, like, beautiful, like, you could tell that fucker had been shuffled. It had been ridge played. It had been ran across concrete. It was like the prettiest back ever. If I could get that as a tattoo, I would get that as the back of the card, because it has story, it has structure, it has these you could just tell when you slapped it down, you'd be like, oh, buddy, let me tell you about the time when. And it's just, you have these epic adventures, right?
So when we played 5-color, we started playing for defacement ante.
Really?
Which meant you anteed a card, and the card you anteed was now out of your deck and was not playable. We played Jewel Bird. Jewel Bird was legal.
Oh,
and
cool.
So anything, like all the ante cards were legal.
Shahrazad, by the way?
We could Shahrazad if you wanted to.
Yeah,
and the anteed card at the end of it, the winner had the right to take a Sharpie and deface the anteed card of your opponent in any way they saw fit.
Interesting.
So I had copy artifacts with Christ drawn on them like he's on the fucking cross.
Somewhere I have a card that somebody drew, like they're smoking a blunt on it, and it's I think it's the one white tutor that she just looks really old, and it's just like, this is perfect. Like, I don't know.
Tutor, yeah.
I don't remember. I'm starting to lose all the names. I haven't played in so long.
Yeah, my Garzazol, which was a Grixis haste creature that looked like it was with flying, and it looked like it was a wraith, so it had mist at the bottom, and somebody just wrote across it in giant letters, "I lost my legs in Nam." And
oh, God.
So I had that. I had a lot of real fucked up ones. But that was what we did.
I mean, even in Flesh and Blood, the amount of alters that I see, whether it's from an artist directly or just people doing shit on cards, it's crazy to me, because some of the heroes, I'd much rather have the alter than the official version of the hero, because they just look beautiful. And his
name's Iswardi, you can just say it.
Yeah, I mean, Iswardi, if I had more money, I'd basically buy everything he's ever done, because it's almost half it's just, mind-blowingly beautiful. It's just... And
he did an entire 52-card poker deck.
Oh my God, really?
He hand drew the whole thing. I was so close to just buying it.
I even ask the cost on something like that?
$3,500, I want to say, is what he was charging.
For what it is, that'd be great, but would you ever want to shuffle it? Probably not.
Oh, hell yeah. Like, we're playing poker with this deck. Mm-hmm. Are you kidding? This deck's gas.
All right. I'd participate in that one. Not that I'm any good at it. I'm sure I'm a shit poker player, but just the experience itself would be worth it.
Yeah, do I even have the... it's somewhere around here. I have so much random shit sitting on my desk. It's not even okay.
By the way, back to your fridge conversation that you were talking about earlier, there are 299 pieces of equipment in the game at this point, according to Fabry. Some of those, I'm not counting alternate arts and different variations of it, but I think that's the actual complete... like one-ofs kind of a thing, which
sure.
I guess really that's an inaccurate statement, because Popped Collar is actually a redo of another card, but Popped Collar technically isn't.
Has a different name.
Yeah. It's technically the same ability, which I will say is a very good kudos in general to Flesh and Blood so far. I am glad. I am beyond positively ecstatic that in the game in general, they haven't just opted to pull the fucking easy lever and just put other cards in sets down the road. Like, I guess, 0 to 50 and 0 to 60 were close, but they really weren't the same card. So, like, they've not really... If they're going to use the same card, they just fucking reprint the same card.
Right, yeah.
And that is beautiful.
I mean, there are some criticisms specifically for Bright Lights, where
but it was
felt
my
like...
mech set. It was my mech set.
I
as
understand.
A mech player, but I understand. I get it.
There's a lot of 1-for-5s
either.
with a variation of Go Again, or a variation of something. There's just a lot of 1-for-5s, right? Like, and it was this, okay, here's another 1-for-5.
So speaking...
Go ahead. Yeah.
Speaking of Go Again, there's a lot of conversations that I try to listen more than I speak anymore, because I guess I've enjoyed the whole trying to learn what people think and then trying to find a clever way to counteract their argument. The old additive of Flesh and Blood was too expensive, right? I think the community in general has pretty much proven that wrong time and time again at this point.
Gone.
But now the big thing I'm hearing, right, and I think you highlighted on this on your most recent podcast, was, there seems to be this whole... Some people think maybe certain heroes are maybe either too much market share or too much poised to be the thing. But there were two things you mentioned in that, if I may quote some of your direct stuff, which I think resonates and people don't take into consideration. When you think of Zen as a predator or a bad hero or an overpowered hero or whatever, and you mentioned people that play on teams. Now, obviously, I'm not a professional player, so I don't have a team of 20, 30, 40 people. But if a team of 20, 30, 40 people that constitutes 1/5 or maybe 1/8 or 1/2 or 1/3, whatever, if it's 120 people and you have 40 people in your team, I don't remember how big the Flesh and Blood teams are, but you get where I'm going with it. None of the teams are
that big, but yeah.
So that if they're all playing the same damn deck, or they're playing a deck that's specific to knock out other players to counter, so that some of their guys can win, so they can get the win share ratio to do. I'm sure there's behind the door talk, but my thought is if they're all playing the same hero, then that percentage, of course, will be fucking bigger. Like it's just the nature of it. But if a lowly old person, such as how Michael Hamilton came in with Icelander with his Bowlander build, right? That was a off the cuff thing. I don't think he was a part of a team for that, and it caught everybody by surprise. So if I can find a way to make my Nitro Mechanoid Dash deck work, like I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna stomp some fuckers into the ground. Like I'm gonna transform and I'm gonna Voltron into something that's gonna be great. But I may not be able to do that for 6 months, a year, 2 years.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that. So one example would be Mara Ferris for Nationals tested with and is now just a part of Team Ascent.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, as Team Ascent was working on their decks, I'm not going to go into the process too much, but as
trade secrets.
I mean, I'm not on the team. I just happen to talk to people that are. But at any rate, as they were working on their deck, like towards the last minute, with a week left to go in testing, Mara looked at what they put together, which they were very confident in. They felt very good about. And she nah, fuck it. I'm playing Dash.io. And then proceeded to go X1ing Constructed at Nationals with Dash.io. Because it was every bit as explosive as Zen could be. And created lines of, Mara knows how to do one thing really well. And that's play a 0 for 4 with Go Again. She's the fucking queen of 0 for 4 with Go Again. You could probably just tattoo that on her now, and it would never stop being true. But so she made a rogue decision away from what the team did. That does happen. But then you have other teams, so Card Guys and Wolfpack and whoever else that are going to be on a deck. They're going to have beat it into the ground. Team Blue Pitch does this a lot. Sunflowers typically play.
So there's a lot of teams
deck.
I guess I've never heard of. You're naming some that I'm just not familiar with.
Sure. But the point being that those are your homogenization points. Okay. And then there's obviously there's some levels of cross-pollination as well, because you get and I'm throwing names out here, these are not indicative of anything. You get a Josh Lau, talking to, on the Card Guys, talking to, say, Matt Coles. And Josh is like, we had a real good build of this hero, not going to go into details. Well, then Matt's going to hear that and go, well, we don't. So maybe we need to start working on that now. Or is it a PSYOP? So
I was going to say, it could be a completely reverse PSYOP kind of a thing.
If Majin and Peter, Peter Budensick and Majin Bay are telling you that they're doing anything other than playing Kano, just don't fucking believe them. It's a goddamn PSYOP. It's always a fucking PSYOP with those two. But you just have to kind of take that at face value. Now, sometimes you'll just pick up that deck and build what you think is the best build, and it's trash. And then you just dismiss it out of hand. Right? Just say, nope, they're fucking with us, leave it alone. Or you start into it and you're like, okay, this is kind of good. And then you start down that, you take a section of your team and devote them to that deck and say, hey, build this out 84. We're getting up there. And you knock your pop filter off. You're fucking killing it. So it turns into one of those places where, so like, let's say that they discover, the Wolfpack then discovers that, this build of Dorinthia, just as a thing, just as a random hero. I mentioned Josh Lau, so warrior. Let's just say that they say that, oh, wow, this deck is really good. Well, now you have two teams on the deck.
Sure.
And
which creates a bigger percentage of the group. Yep. It's a snowball thing.
And that happens. It does. Yes, it absolutely does. So, and that happened in Magic too, where a team would have a deck, somebody broke it became not so secret, and other teams showed up with it at the event too, and there was giant market share of one deck. Happened all the time. So that's why I kind of take those tournaments, your Pro Tours, US Nationals, Canadian nationals, New Zealand nationals, and then like worlds. I take all of those with a little bit of a grain of salt
Got it. Okay.
because you're going to have a level of homogenization there. But when you start incorporating all the rest of, nationals from different countries into the mix, and Vishra, so Barrett Goss, he on his sheet, he had the market share for each hero listed on that sheet for every nationals across the board. And so Zen was played at a 17% clip. That might not sound like a giant number, but 17% of a 27 hero field is massive.
Well, in the Living Legend format or any of the heroes, when you start looking at the whole, that's why I wish I had that other sheet because it'd have been nice to show you here. But
Nice preparation, dickhead.
yeah, I know. I can only be so professional, and I suck at that. So basically,
we drink and we know things. It's whatever.
yeah. When you look at the Living Legend, section, right? I mean, the game is not slowing down. We're on set
No.
13, 14, whatever, 15. It depends on if you count history packs. It depends on if you count foreign language. But regardless,
I don't count reprint sets, but
so then what would you say? The next one's going to be set 14?
yeah, that sounds right.
So if Rosetta is 14, we're at 27 legal adult classic constructed heroes as of right now. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that have hit Living Legend. Assuming we know that there's going to be at least 3 adult heroes. Now you're up to 30 adult heroes, which is again a lot for any side scroll beat 'em up fighter game as a selection.
Well,
tool.
we know Rosetta's 4.
Because of I thought there was that is true. There are 4.
2 wizards. Yep.
2 wizards, 2 rune blades.
2 rune blades.
Okay, so you'll be at like 31. Got it. Now, with that said, you have 36 plus 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, because half of these fuckers at the bottom, Enigma, Betsy, Genus, Kasai, Nitromax, Melody, New, and Olympia, have not got a fucking point to the name to shake a fist at. So you'll be...
That's Blitz, right?
Yeah, that's Blitz. And,
yeah.
If you add another one there, right, that's just one set. So now you're talking that if they don't find a way to begin to rotate these heroes out, because again, even if there's only so many points per season, and yes, okay, we get it. Right now, the MST heroes are definitely soaking up the limelight. They're getting more. I mean, Zen has 445 of the 445 points he has been obtained in this one particular season. So like you said, he's either going to starvo the fuck out of here, or they're going to find a way to curb it with the changes they've done with the banned and restricted list, and now he's going to slow down, but they're going to keep adding new heroes. So what is the next meta going to do, right? It's they can't keep chasing the meta constantly, as in the new sets can't always be the latest meta. Sooner or later, Dash is going to have to bug out. Now I'm sad to see that she's at 910, so she's gained 100 points, which means there's very good likelihood she's still gone this season.
The next ProQuest season, she's probably gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means I'm going to have to reassess kind of how I'm doing things, because what's the old phrase, marry the class and love the hero or something, or
it's love, you love the hero but you marry the class. And I'm bad at that because I don't like any of the other warriors, but so I get where you're going. And you have to think of them not necessarily as they become the meta, they become new checks on the format. So as an example, Zen became a check on KO.
Okay.
And Zen's faster. KO is the premier beat the shit out of them as fast as humanly possible deck.
But at a certain point, Ball Lightning only is Ball Lightning for so long.
Right, sure. And then Zen was a good check on KO, but was too good of a check on the rest of the format, which is why something had to go. You look at New is a check on Zen, which those being within the same set makes it very awkward, because you have spots there where now it looks like Zen and New are both overly oppressive, but I don't think that's the case. I think New feasted on Zen's a little bit because Zen's market share was so big. And then Enigma just has so much fucking space to be explored, but had a bad Zen matchup. Like, that was just a thing. Bad Zen matchup. Zen's bad matchups were very limited. New was not great, Azalea was difficult, and that basically was it. Everything else was at the very least you felt fine into, and it sometimes just felt free.
Got it.
So, with your next set, you're looking at 2 Rune Blades and 2 Wizards. They're all arcane damage dealers. Zen is not great at dealing with arcane damage. Other things that
So is that why they reprinted Skullcap, you think? Because they need
I think
it?
that might be part of it. And the other thing, and I remember talking to at US Nats, I was talking again, not name dropping, but I was talking to Steven DM Armada and Brody Spurlock, and I look at the card Germinate, and I look at Brody and I go, this just makes like 8 embodiments of Earth, so they can just one card block your red in the ledgers that are super pumped, that are dominated. And he goes, I'm sad. Just like, there we go, we did it. And because just a bunch of fucking embodiments of Earth just stacked to the ceiling, one card block 12 or whatever, and it's like you're block 11. It's like, woof, that took care of it. So it's interesting how they're trying to slow some things down again with this new set, but they're also printing an aggressive Rune Blade along with a non-aggressive Rune Blade, and then Wizard
when will the world of slower decks like Control, like Icelander with the ice, or things like that, like maybe a mid-range dash, when are those going to be able to be played again, you think, without being completely shot out of the water?
I think that the Earth hero is going to have a giant defensive toolbox.
And but will that shape the meta? Will that shape what people are playing?
If this is done well, and I think it will be, because I just, always big trust with LSS. They've earned that. And I think it'll be a little bit of both. I think you'll have a sort of tankier wizard, think Icelander, which will likely be your Earth Wizard. You'll have a tankier Rune Blade, be your Earth Rune Blade. You'll have a Go Boom Wizard, which is going to be the lightning one. If you've seen the staff.
Oh, yeah.
If you've seen that stupid fucking staff, it kind of makes you cringe a bit.
Watts times volts is amps, or amps times watts is volts. I feel like it's literally a giant, erector set for kids. That's what I feel like he's going to be.
It's a storm cloud of nutsacks that are just going to rain upon you. And then a more defensive wizard that's designed to just keep gaining life and kind of build up defenses until it can turn the corner on you. So I think that the format does slow down in Rosetta.
So do you think that these 4 heroes could be the cornerstone of where PvE might be on the verge of next year, and these might be the final bits that would help a defensive, like if you think of the D&D trope, or like you say you play True Dungeon. So like in True Dungeon, right, you have to have really a myriad of classes in order to really successfully compete against, in
reality, you just need a bard. Everything else will fall in place.
That's funny. My D&D group would love to hear that. I'll have to share this part with her. She'll get a kick out of that. But like PvE at some point will come, I hope, trademark someday, James White and We Trust kind of a thing. And, they will get only one chance to do it right? The whole reason I'm not mad of them delaying it is because, first to market doesn't necessarily mean best, but first impression is everything, right? So if they release it and everyone hates it, no one's going to like it. But I feel like these heroes, there's a lot more to it, especially with the last release of that whole, Unity keyword that essentially was in Dusk Till Dawn. There's breadcrumbs.
Yeah, there are everywhere. And you're right. They get one shot at this. If PvP sucks and no one wants to do it, rebuying isn't going to happen. You are, for the duration of the life of your game, going to be pigeonholed into being a competitive game at that point.
Yep,
that's it.
My silver palms will be literally not worth the silver.
Yep. I
want a gold palms really bad. I don't own any gold cards, and I really want at least one gold card at some point. But
I refuse to acquire a gold card until I win one.
I gotta get good.
Yeah. So the interesting part of all this is I liken it to Blizzard. And so anybody that played Blizzard games back in the day remembers that no Blizzard game ever released on time.
Yep.
Like, actual ever. But the ones when it came out, it wasn't a buggy mess. It was an elegant, well-crafted game that immediately became the best thing in that genre.
Correct.
StarCraft 2, Diablo 2, Diablo 3. World of Warcraft was not the first MMO.
It was not.
But it is the one that's still there.
Yep.
And
SOTOR is the one I got into instead of that one.
Well, I played a lot of WoW. I played an okay amount of SOTOR. I play a little bit of Fallout 76, but once the MMO grind eats you alive,
MMOs are like e-herpes, is what I kind of jokingly refer to it as, because once you have it, your friends get it, and then everybody else gets it, and it just becomes like, I had multiple friends that were in college with me. They dropped out because of WoW. Actually, it was insane.
Yeah, that was a real thing.
And no joke, he still owns college loans to this day, but he is very proud of his WoW account and his status on WoW.
And before that, it was actually Civilization. Was Civ and Civ 2 were getting kids to flunk out of college. And there's always going to be something along those lines, right? Like Magic got people to flunk out of college. Like they just spent all their money on Magic cards and spent all their time playing Magic, and they never finished. They just accrued debt and never finished. I think that's there are numerous stories like that, and a lot of people that have that story have become very successful otherwise. But still a thing that happened a lot, and I don't think that happens with Flesh and Blood really, though. Like that's the fun part.
I will say that it's intriguing to see the quantity of players that are now from, I'm hearing Magic, or like when I'm in a store, I was selling some other cards the other day just to kind of get rid of some old Pokemon sealed product and stuff. But like hearing that, hey, I'm a Magic player, I want to learn about this Flesh and Blood, or I'm going to shit you not, I've been watching a lot of Pokemon YouTube content, or just like the store, like the I own a store kind of stuff. And in a lot of those videos, sometimes you hear the owner talk like, yeah, we diversified, we got it, we're doing a lot of Pokemon, but we also bought into Flesh and Blood. And I'm like, holy shit, this is like a strictly Pokemon channel that's like, 80, 90,000 person Pokemon channel talking about they got into Flesh and Blood. And I'm like, once those start to crest that ridge, right? It's gonna be like somebody opening the dam and just letting the fucking floodwaters go, because you think shit's cheap now. Well, just wait till the population doubles or triples, right? Like, not everything's going to go. I got Tales of Aria Unlimited behind me. I'm sure no one's going to give a shit about that. No. But at a certain point, other cards, tunics, staples, generics, right? All these things.
Sync
belows. Yeah. God help us if that card ever gets banned.
No, I mean that's horrifying if that gets banned. But what is the cost of the cheapest sync below right now on TCG Player? Is it $1.50?
I think it is, because I was just looking at it because I was pricing out sync belows.
$1.60 is the cheapest of any red sync below that you can buy.
Don't go buy the Dromai one for $9, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Yeah, why the fuck would you do that? But
I do have to clarify something, because you are incorrect, Logan. I do want to call you out on this. The cheapest sync below is actually 5 cents, but it's the stink below, which is the yellow, which no one fucking plays.
I said red. I did say red, and the last time I spoke, I did say red, and the yellow sync below has seen play before.
Oh, it has? Okay. All right.
Yes.
So nobody plays the blue sync below.
No, the blue sync below is in the Enigma lists for Team Ascent and U.S. Nationals. So
they all have seen professional play at least.
They all have seen professional play at least.
Interesting. What about Fate Machine? Has that one?
No. Blue Fate might. I don't think Yellow Fate ever has. Red Fate, obviously.
I do love the upgrade that they did with the whole defense symbol. I really enjoy that. I think that is a chef's kiss, in my opinion.
But you're going to be at a spot where I've been saying for, 136 weeks, that Flesh and Blood is on sale. You should be buying in now. Because, like you just pointed out, as the population grows, the cards don't get cheaper. They get more expensive.
And that's why, as a collector, I'm not getting the shit like the Marvel New Moons, because I can't drop the $4,000 on a card like that. but I am doing what you'd mentioned earlier, which is making sure I have one of every piece of equipment from every set, period.
Yep.
I'm having, and whether it's not cold foil, it's just the player versus whatever. I like the cold foil, and if I can afford them, I'll get it, or if I open it, I'll have it. But having that flexibility for later down the road means that I can have multiple people. Or again, if PvE becomes a thing, I could say, hey, everybody, just like with True Dungeon. I have a friend that you may actually know his name. His name is Gabe. He is, I guess, apparently in that True Dungeon community known as like the guy who has everything, but he has like a 10 set of everything. So
is he the dude that has the wooden thing? Like he carves his own binders and shit.
I don't think that's what he has, but
Okay.
he has like 10 of the get extra treasure piece and the 10 of
Yep,
the
yep, yep.
whatever. And he walks up and he's just like, DM, here you go. And he like flips his book, boom, boom, boom,
Yep.
boom. And everybody gets max treasure. And I'm like, thanks, bro. Like,
Yeah, he's the best friend of everybody at that
like,
point.
I appreciate you, but he's just like, yeah, no, whatever. But he's just been playing for so long. He also does photography for him and stuff, but great guy. I love him to death. I've known him for years from the convention circuit. So like in Indy, if I can get a True Dungeon slot, that's one of the things I'm going to work with him to try to do. So I don't know when you're playing, but maybe at some point we might cross paths in that area.
They're
so.
open. Like there were True Dungeon slots open last I looked.
Yeah, see, Gen Con always sells that shit out so fast, though.
But they didn't this year because they added runs.
Oh, they did. Oh, okay.
They did.
Now I gotta go to Gen Con
please.
events and see.
Yeah, we're gonna do this live because why wouldn't we? So
True Dungeon sold. So they all say sold out to me, man.
hold on.
Can I do not sold out?
Yeah. Yeah, so here you go. You have
Crimson
Thursday, Crimson Isles, Golden. You have every
Wow.
one of them open.
They did
You
open a
have-
lot more. When I looked when I was buying tickets originally, because I did, and I have it over on the other room, but I got my Gen Con badges in the mail, so I have that lock key.
Yeah, mine's over here. Yeah.
I have my tickets, so I did sign up for several events. I'm actually going to, and this kind of will probably be a beautiful segue into our not sponsor, because hashtag no sponsors.
Hashtag no free ads.
No free ads. That was what. Yeah, that's yours. I like it. But
That's true.
I'm going to have us do something fun. But I'm going to be demoing some of these new games, which mostly because I really wanted to see. Like I got Grimpath on here. I got Warlord Saga, Union Arena, Star Wars Unlimited, which I already know how to play. But I think they're doing a promo, so I wanted to make sure I got one.
It's the Grogu, but they're also doing $100 thing where you gave them you spend $100,
Okay.
and you get these really slick Power of the Dark Side promos. They're like black featured foil versions of Dooku, Vader, Kylo Ren, and then an Asajj Ventress and a Maul from set 3.
Oh, that's cool. The ball would be beautiful.
Right. They're gorgeous.
I'm
And so
still
that's
sad
another
I
thing.
missed out on the 2 promos because I was signed up to play the event at Gen Con 2 years ago or whatever, and
last year. It was last year.
Something came up and I didn't make it to it, so I did not get the Vader and Luke combo. I can go buy them, I think, but it's just kind of
They're not cheap. Sadly.
no, that's kind of thing. Kind of sucks, but at the same time, I got the Lorcana ones because I was first in line for that bullshit. Yeah.
Oh, were you one of the people like telling people that there was a line and then there
Nope.
wasn't a line?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I can tell you the story on that if you want. It's beautiful.
I
even have
watched
some,
it happen.
I have some of it recorded. No. This is the most insane piece. So I got into the Lorcana Learn to Play like demo day one. It was day one, like initial opening
Yep.
first spot. Only because a guy I work with in Wisconsin basically couldn't attend, and he was like, "Oh man, I transfer you this, but they won't let me." So he shipped me his badge and that ticket. So for that one event, I walked in, stood in line, and I said, "Here is me, here is the ticket," and they let me in, which I could not believe they did. And then basically at that point, I sat down, I got to do it, and when we got to leave, I guess you get it was a starter pack, and in the starter pack, I didn't realize there was a booster pack. So the best video I have on my whole channel, actually, which is odd in a lot of ways, was me videoing the better half, the wife, Pokey Penguin or Beth, opening up the blister pack right there, and then I uploaded it and put it on YouTube, and it got like 2,000 or 3,000 views immediately because they were people like, "Oh, what is this shit?" Yeah. So right after that, we walked around and we did some shit for a while. Then one of my friends, again, the same guy that was the True Dungeon person, said, hey, there's no line at the Lorcana booth. It's really weird. And I said, what do you mean? He was like, well, they said they sold out earlier, but I guess they kind of mislied. They found another box or a pallet of something. So I
Sure.
literally walked from the food trucks. I said, fuck it, I'll try. I walked from the food trucks, walked all the way down that long ass hall, did the beeline, walked straight down in front of that demo, right all the way to the end where they did that stupid little like caddy corner where people were bitching in the morning they weren't in line.
Line Kana. Yeah.
Yeah. I walked through, and within 30 seconds, I was at that booth, and I was able to check out, got the promo, got a box, and I was like, no fucking way. I couldn't believe it. Like, it was,
Yep.
and it was just like, and then right after that, everyone found out, and the line became Line Kana once again.
Right,
It was
it
just
became
like
Line Kana.
it was the magical window of like maybe 4 minutes or 5 minutes of just lull where I was like, how did this work out? So that's the only reason I got my promos.
Yeah. I mean, I did too. Because, well, so what happened was I was not really interested in buying Lorcana from there. I got all of my Lorcana for the most part has either come from LGS's here, which didn't mark anything up,
That's a
and
rarity, actually.
and from the Realm, because I don't I don't have to pay full price. It's great, but the fact of the matter is that they were giving out the Mickey promos for any purchase.
Yep.
So I walked up and bought a copy of Villainous for $20 and got the Mickey promos.
Nice.
Okay.
Those are going for, I thought, like about $100 now, aren't they?
Yeah, give or take, yeah.
So, I mean, just to have them is to
Worth
have
it.
them.
But yeah, this is this Gen Con, pivoting to Gen Con really quick. My Gen Con this year is almost entirely either True Dungeon or Kingdom Death Monster. It is one of those two things.
I have not
I am
played
going to
Kingdom Death Monster. I want to. I want to learn that.
It's so good. And then the other portions are I need to see if I can sneak into an Arcs demo because that
I have
game
heard
looks
that's a
great.
beautiful game. Yes.
And then Rock Hard 1977
Okay.
is supposed to be unreal good. That one is you don't have to ticket for. You just can show up
Okay.
at one of the appointed times.
Nice.
And there was another game, and it's escaping my mind right now. But these are all games that are like
Altered. Neopets.
Altered, whatever. Neopets, I don't give a shit. Like Altered, I kickstarted, so I'll get it. I need to, yeah. So there's other things I want to do, but my focus is, well, one, I'll spend a lot of times in the hot games room because the hot games room is the shit. Like it is the absolute best.
What is that? I guess I'm
And-
not familiar with that one.
So in the Hyatt Ballroom,
Okay.
there is it starts very first thing Thursday morning and goes all the way to the very last thing Sunday. It is a game. It's a room full of board games to check out.
Okay. So it's
So
like
you
free
get
demos.
time. Yep, you get time in 2-hour blocks for like $4 for 2 hours.
Oh, nice. Okay.
You can
Yeah.
just walk in, check out any game you want that's in there, and just play.
That's
And it has
Good
almost
value.
all the games that are on the demo floor. So you can just go and find out, do I like this? Do I not like this?
sure.
Without having to go through the rigmarole. And that room is the goddamn best.
I thought you were going to talk about the discount game room where they do the auction or whatever.
The auction room is also very cool, but you kind of
It's
you're
a
at the
risk
mercy of
reward.
the auction. Yeah, you're at the mercy of the gods on that one, really. So while it's fine, it isn't the best.
We
So,
bought a Japanese style. I guess it was kind of like Gloomhaven, but it's for it's like a JRPG game. It was there for 2 years
Madara.
ago. Madara. Yeah, we went all in on that, and
Madara's really good.
this gets back to the PvE conversation where I circle way back to what I was saying earlier because I never finished that. Is I just don't know. Like, it's hard for me to find groups of people to play things with locally, which sucks because like I want the whole flesh and blood in person kind of a thing, right? But the community is just so different than what I want to do. I don't want to play 60-minute, hour-long games of CC where I'm paying $5 going in and I'm losing. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind getting my ass stomped. I played War Machine back in the day. I'm used to getting my fucking ass handed to me. Like,
Did you ever
it was-
listen to the Muse on Minis podcast by
Yeah,
chance?
yeah.
Those are actually friends of mine that are local to me.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
Josh from Muse on Minis was one of my roommates back in the day. He's one of my oldest friends right now. He is a head brewer at Confluence Brewing here in Des Moines. And yeah, he's we go to Phoenix every year to watch baseball. This year we went to Mexico together to go to a wedding and hang out. Like, he's one of my closest friends.
I was a filthy Crix player, by the way.
Oh, you are a piece of shit. Okay. Just making sure that we got that out of the way. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. And in 40K,
Motherfucker.
just do you know what I play in 40K? Because I'm sure it's obvious, right?
Oh, I'm gonna guess you're either like Dark Eldar or fucking Tyranids.
Tyranids and Blood Angels are my two.
Motherfucker. God damn it.
I love to beautifully paint thousands of miniatures only to set it down for 30 seconds and go like this with my hands and say, nope,
Nope.
you know, I'm
We
losing
done.
all of these. All these are gone. And then I have
Yep.
one big monster left. That's all I got. Yeah.
And with like basically if you were just to add the point values of everything that's swallowed onto there plus its own point value, it's just like why didn't you start with it on the field?
Why didn't I
It
start
would
with a
just be
Titan
easier.
or something fun? Speaking of which, there are
Right.
3D print files that apparently Games Workshop has knocked off, but I found them on Colt 3D when I bought them like about 2 years ago. So I'm working on printing a Tau Manta because that thing is just beautiful.
It's
and then
huge,
a
too.
Thunderhawk because somebody released a Thunderhawk with
like a scale one?
the detailed interior though. That's why I bought it because I was
Oh.
like, holy shit! It's not just like a brick. It's on the inside. You could have like the figurines and all so. I'm
Damn.
really excited for that one. And then the third one I found was it was some sort of Warlord Titan, or not Titan, or whatever the one that's fucking 2 foot tall.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about.
But I was like, for
Okay.
$40 total for all 3 of those, sure, why not?
I need to refresh my beer, by the way.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna go do that. Do you
Cheers.
need one?
Sure. I can
It's a
get
long drive for me to get you one, but
to will it. At some point, I'm going to make a run to be able to hang out with you in person somewhere for more than the 30 seconds.
just Gen Con
the-
Wednesday night. I'll be at Sun King pretty much all night. So
Well, you know I'm local to Gen Con. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm within
Just
a fucking
go to Sun
earshot.
King.
So
just
and
go to Sun King.
I used to know the owner of Sun King, by the way. They used to work with me at a company back in the day.
At
So,
Ram?
No, so if I understand right, I thought Sun King was owned by was it Pam Hines or the last name Hines or something?
Yep. They were the bottler money business side of it.
Okay, because they worked at the company that I used to work at called Interactive Intelligence, or they were very high
Okay.
up in that company when I was there, and they fucking used to have kegs like
Yeah.
it was insane. I loved that. It was like
But
the
the
best
head
experience ever.
brewer, the original head brewer of Sun King, and I think he's still there,
Hmm.
was one of the 2 head brewers at Ram.
Mhm.
And then he wanted Ram to be more of a brewery, and then the other owner of Ram was the restaurateur side.
Got
and
it,
he
okay.
wanted it to be more of a restaurant, and so they just kind of split off. But I'll be right back.
Yeah. And now for the intermission, ladies and gentlemen. This is where the magic happens. The power of editing.
I am in my happy place. I'm enjoying my time. And that's the best that people need to remember. We have one fucking currency in this world,
Time.
and that is time. It's the one thing that we can never get more of. What we have is what we have. Yeah, just a waste of, your oxygen in a way.
Yeah. Well, that's
And
the
that
other.
never feels good.
I don't want to say I guess this is where I'll pick back up. I don't want to say I'm scared of going to events, but I will say that the multiple times I have been to events, something weird has fucking happened, aka Baltimore. The weird slum lord area where Sloop got his room, and me having all my camera equipment and being scared as fuck that I was going to get robbed. So I was like, I'm going to use my hotel points, or I didn't have enough at the time, so I'm like, I'm just going to put it on the credit card, and now it's like I got to pay that off. But that's the one downside to not making money going to these things, right? You basically use your open credit and open cards to pay for things, and then at a certain point, that cuts into your other fun budgets. It's like, okay, yeah, I need to.
Yeah, and honestly, as we've gone to, a lot of different places, and it's most of the time on our own dime, right? Shout out to when it isn't, to our friends at the Realm and whoever else that decide, hey, we'll just, stay on our Airbnb or whatever.
Sure.
And that's great. Love it. The hard part is always just the justification of cost, right?
Absolutely.
So going to Osaka, which is currently the plan.
That's a salty plan.
It is I have 2 options. I have to either take my wife, and it's going to cost me between $5,000 and $7,000,
But it'll be memorable.
Or I can file for divorce and my lawyer takes payment in Magic cards. So I can probably get away with this, fairly cheap. Now, I've elected to do the whole take the wife portion of the show. I mean, it's been 17 years. So, we're priced in a bit.
Yeah,
but
that's a little hard to get a replacement at anything past about the 7 mark.
I mean, I could cash in for a new model if I needed to, but that's a joke. It's a joke. But no, in reality, as she's a giant Sailor Moon person.
Nice.
And runs a giant Sailor Moon Facebook page, does a lot of different things, Sailor Moon content-wise. It's kind of her thing.
It's hard to find people that are in the same, likes that you like. That's the other thing, right? If you jive,
yeah, no, sure.
You jive, you jive.
Yeah, it's our common interests are things like horror movies and just generally weird shit. We both became people who love food. Like I've always loved food, but to a different degree, and she likes, I just picked up today the new X-Men because it released today. Very good, by the way.
Nice. Very
good start to a great team. And so she'll read it, we'll both be reading as we go with the new books and such. But
she's joining you for Gen Con?
No. I don't think that would be her atmosphere to a degree, but Level Up in Las Vegas, 100% would be.
Well, there is a Level Up here in Indianapolis too, by the way. There's a 16-bit arcade. Yeah, so some fun facts for people that might be attending. There's a 16-bit arcade bar /
sure.
pinball, and then you have a Level 1, which I'm assuming is what I'm guessing you're referring to, but it's more of an barcade kind of a thing.
Level Up is a convention in Las Vegas every year.
Oh, okay. What is that?
And it's a video game anime convention for the most part.
Okay. We have some stuff like that, but it's not. We have more like pop culture. Yep. The closest one to that we have is called ASIN. That's in Chicago.
Yep. And Gen Con would be, until she's has done more conventions in general. Gen Con's the most daunting convention that any person can ever see.
I used to do 30 to 50 conventions a year.
Oof.
Back when I was doing photography, so fun backstory on me. Parents were wedding photographers in the mid 80s. So my bread and butter before I kind of got into IT was I would do photography. And case in point, this is one of the cameras. And I very much enjoy almost all of that style of thing. I learned from them, and I would go around and I did cosplay photography. So I would go to, every event, in the Midwest that I could drive through within 8 hours. So,
which is a lot, honestly, from Indy.
Oh, hell yeah. It's beautiful. Everything from going all the way down to Atlanta, Georgia for, obviously Dragon Con, which those are unhinged, by the way. If you've never been to a Dragon Con.
Oh, no, I've been to Dragon. Holy shit. I have.
Some of the memories. I have stories and memories. That is actually one of the places I got a selfie with Momoa on a staircase because he was drunk as fuck. And we were I was sitting there and I had my camera. And he comes barging through a door and he's like, cameraman! I'm like, what?
He's a Des Moines guy. So I've got Jason's stories. It's fine.
He seemed like a really awesome individual.
His favorite place in Des Moines is a shit fucking biker bar that serves the worst tacos you'll ever have in your life. And all the beers are warm. And the whiskey is dog shit. And it's one of the best places in Des Moines you can possibly go.
Interesting.
Because the vibe is just so exactly what you think it would be.
Fair enough.
And it's just a shit biker bar in the heart of Des Moines. And it's wonderful. And...
well, if I get to drive out that way, I'll definitely come visit.
Yeah. It's one of the bars in Des Moines that I haven't been kicked out of. Let's put it that way. I've been kicked out of some fucked up bars, but I
was pretty devastated when oh my gosh, I'm forgetting her name. She's on your FAB After Dark, but she came through Indianapolis for
Bryn
for her band, and I was busy the night. Yeah, I was busy the night that I guess they were in town, and I was like, oh shit, I would have loved to have just met up and said hi, because that's a thing I'm willing to do. If you're within a 2-hour drive or whatever, I'll definitely try and meet up. And it's just sometimes life gets in the way. It sucks, but
Band is good too. It's a definitely a good listen. They put on a hell of a good live
I
show.
think it was called Holistics or something. We'd been there a couple times, but we know them as like
Oh,
the
the
goth
club?
industrial
Yeah.
EDM. Like
Yep.
they're one of the few, right? Like there's not many of those here in Indianapolis, but like there's a couple
No,
of nice
maybe
ones.
two. There used to be about 5 or 6.
Oh God, man! Back you remember the what was it called? What's the Vampire Masquerade like dark the con the damn it what was the name of that?
Oh,
White Wolf or something? Is that it?
well, no, because White Wolf made the game, but they had a specific name for the con.
Well, I don't know what it was. You used to rent out a building downtown, and it was like the
A
most
warehouse.
unhinged parties, and I'm like, that does not exist anymore. But they were the coolest.
It looked
things
like the
ever.
opening scene of Blade.
I know it was like
It was so
fucking,
fucked up.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I loved it. I enjoyed I went to 3 of them, I think, just because the vibe was so fucking crazed that I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah, just absolutely.
And yeah, it was in the middle of I was like in a shitty warehouse. Somebody's gonna be listening to this and be like, I know what the fuck that was. And
Comment below. Do anything.
yeah.
Hit the bell button.
Yeah.
Unsubscribe. Uninstall YouTube. Go touch
shit.
grass. Do something.
Oh, I love touching grass. Usually touch it with a golf club. But
That's one thing I'm not good at. I used to be able to drive really good because in high school I drove, like I guess what's called driving or what. I did that, but I could never get anything else. I don't know why.
it took me in 2022, one of those 2 years, 2022. I played about 90 rounds of golf that summer.
That seems like a lot.
And
Are there 90 days in the summer?
No, they're not. I was playing 3 to 5 rounds a day whenever I could get out.
That makes sense.
I played 90 holes one day.
Wow, that's a lot of holes.
It was 6 a.m. It was a quick round because nobody was on the course, so I was off the course by like 8:30, and then took another turn at 9 to noon, and then immediately turned again noon to 3. Turned a quick one and wound up being done by like 5:30.
Is that where the term quickie came from?
No, but not exactly. I learned that one from Married with Children, but and Nooner. I learned that one from Married with Children as well. You can tell I grew up fucking classy. But yeah, so I played a ton of golf that summer and got decent. So now I can maintain a little bit. I'm not bad. I'm not great. I'm not bad. I'm pretty good in Topgolf. Because it takes a lot of drinks to get me to a spot that I can't swing. So
I used to be a lot better at hard liquor, but after I had some, I would say, repair surgery, I have a heart condition, so like they did a fun balloon stint thing where I went from basically having no energy to where I am today, which is where I have at least a decent amount of energy. It apparently made me be able. I used to drink like a sailor. I could take I could take a fifth of Crown and it could go down the hole, and I would be perfectly good to go. Now I can't seem to do more than maybe like 5 or 6 drinks, and it's a real intriguing concept. I don't know why, but it just
that's blood flow probably.
It was. That's actually what they increased. They literally tripled my blood flow because it was like such a narrowing that when they ballooned it open, they were like, yeah, it used to be like this, and now it's like this, and I'm like, holy shit, that explains a lot. So
that's why I actually feel like I'm a person again. Holy fuck.
Yeah. So for all the good, I lost the whole I'll keep up with you drink for drink, kid. Like can't do that.
Oh, no one. I think people have learned their lesson with me
to try to do that with you. Not drinking you out of the
table. Yeah. There was an unfortunate night for some people in Hartford, Connecticut, and they learned some valuable lessons. Lesson 1: don't. That was lesson 1.
Yeah,
and 2.
What on your podcast, do you ever? I mean, do you guys pretty much try to always do that one run, one through, just one take, no stops, or do you ever have to?
Yep.
I know you've had some random tech issues over time, but like, is there any pro tips for aspiring potter, podcaster, whatever the word would be?
Yeah, my best tip is don't.
Okay.
I think that's tip 1. Is just don't.
Delete. Got it.
Beyond that, if you're insistent on do, then whatever you do not make it a principle of yours to go on a streak that you're unwilling to break because you will damage your mental health in ways that are probably irreparable. I don't know yet. We'll find out later in life if these scars ever heal. But the biggest thing is only do it if you enjoy it.
Okay.
Never force it, because forcing it isn't good for you, and you can't hide that. People know when they're listening to something and the person on the other end is phoning it in. Like they know. And if you are in a spot where you feel like I don't want to do this, then don't do it. It's nothing is worth it at that point. It is not worth your time, your mental energy, everything else if it isn't for you first. And I think people lose sight of that.
I'll tell you, I've been having a hell of a lot more fun with these podcasts with the, I would say, lack of editing. But, you know, when I started realizing that I was spending 3 to 4 hours editing and editing a video to get it out for a 15-minute thing for like 50 to 100 people to watch, I'm glad that those 100 people watched. I'm not discounting that, you know, I had those kind of views, but it's also disheartening where I'm like, wow, how much time of my life did I spend for that message, and will that ever be heard by people that actually matter? And it wore on me at a certain point, and I had to step back from that because I was like, I know I can do better. But then, like, looking at people like Sloop Dupe, right, and those that you know are just, I'll say, savants at what they're doing, right? They already have the system down. They know what they're doing. They have a jive. They have their shtick or whatever. They have all these good things going for them, which is great. It's really hard because you're competing for the one thing that you can't create more of, and that is somebody's time, right? You know, the reason it's such an honor, I think, to find that people are listening to certain things is, right, is, you know, when you find out that someone's been listening to you, you know, they're listening to you for that period of time. So it's like, wow, you've actually spent time to listen to me.
So how, of regular episodes, what do you think we have 136 episodes. What do you think was the first time on YouTube, without looking, that we had more than 100 views?
Oh my gosh. Without looking. So you're talking on your podcast in general where you had more than 100 total views on that one video that you had?
On YouTube, on the one episode. Yep.
Well, anecdotally, I'm going to assume that it was not in your first 50 because I think you changed, you know, clientele, or you changed your staffing, or your crew changed. And when Charmer came on, I thought it was somewhere in the mid 60s, I thought. So I'm going to ballpark and say 55.
So yeah, that's actually really close. It was 56.
Oh, no shit. Really?
Now over time, that has changed. There's been a lot of people that have gone back and rewatched and stuff like that.
Oh, sure.
So like episode 1, when we released it, within like the first year and a half or whatever of that episode being out, or year of being out, it never had more than 40 views. That's over 100 now. But if you go back to just the analytics of when it came out, within like those first little bit of time, yeah, it was in the 50. It was in the high 50s. It's been over a year.
I do my best not to get locked in the analytics. My analytical brain loves the fucking analytics. I love the YouTube analytics, but it kills you mentally when I'm like, wow, why did I lose 10 subscribers this week? Because that's a thing. Like, I've been ebbing and flowing, and it's like when you're at a certain number, you see them leave, and you're like, what did I do wrong? Like, that's the very first thing that goes through my head is like, what did I do to piss somebody off?
Right. Well, so that's the other part, is you just don't care. It's not that you don't care about people. It's that I'm not doing this. I'm doing this because, for two reasons, really. One, I enjoy it. I really do. For as much as I bitch about Charmer, because fuck that guy, or bitch about, you know, keeping this godforsaken streak up, or whatever I bitch about. I mean, I have complaints at times. Yeah, not Larry David levels, but I have complaints. And as much as I do that, I still enjoy it every week. Every week when I sit down to do this, all the stresses, everything else, for that hour and a half to 3 hours, sometimes longer, depending, that I spend doing it, I am in my happy place. I'm enjoying my time. And that's the best that people need to remember. We have one fucking currency in this world,
Time.
and that is time. It's the one thing that we can never get more of. What we have is what we have. How you spend it, who you spend it with, is vitally important. And if somebody chooses to spend that time on you, they're showing you the truest form of love possible. And you need to respect that. Respect the time of others because it is something they can never get back.
Yep.
But when we're talking about this, it's, for me, the other part has been when people walk up to me at events, right? And they pull me aside and they say, hey, you know, I went through a real rough stretch a month ago, and what got me through was knowing that every Tuesday, Flesh and Pod was going to be there to give me a laugh. So thanks, man. It's like, you motherfucking piece of shit, motherfucker. Now I have to keep doing this. You realize the curse you just put on me? And they usually look at me, because I do say that to them. And they look at me like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, nah, it's cool. I'm just happy that, you know, you got through it. I'm happy that you're here with us today. And they're like, that was a 180. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. Or it's the little things. So like when Charmer and I were at Nationals, there's two people ahead of us in like the line at the prize wall. Charmer and I had some shit to cash in, and Charmer made some just terrible pun. Like, I just wanted to murder him exactly right where he stood. And so I just turned, I looked at him in his big eyes with his shit-eating grin, and I just said, I fucking hate you so much right now. And the people in front of us spun around their heels like, dude, it's Flesh and Pod. And I'm like, God, no, all right. Okay, we have a brand. I get it. But it's stuff like that too, right? Like it's that those little things that, you know, we're never going to be the favorite son of anybody. Like, it's not going to happen.
But you got a spoiler.
We did once. And we've had the rules and policy manager, and we've had the head of content on, and, you know, yada yada yada. Like, but yeah, we're still not, you know. But the real juice of all of it is enjoying what you do, and if the enjoyment comes from bringing meaning to somebody else's life, great. If the joy comes because that time that you're blocked away and in your own thing and you feel it means that much to you, do it. But the minute it doesn't, don't feel bad about stopping.
And I've seen several content creators leave the scene, and I'm not really sure the reasons why, but I would imagine it has something to do with probably time versus, you know, what they value in their life. You know,
at least I hope.
One of the sad exits that I still to this day hope one day comes back is Paul Timmy. Yep. Yeah. You know, if for nothing else, if at all, you know, Baltimore, let's say, you know, that credit card that I stuck that room on and stuff, like, if nothing else, the fact that I got to meet him in person, shake his hand, photo, you know, signature, all that stuff, because I was a patron of him and all that, I was blown away. I got to meet, you know, Fluke. I got to meet all sorts of people, obviously, you know, Sloop and Andromeda and all the various, you know, folks that were there. It was, I mean, heck, even I met Riddler there, and I didn't realize that I would say the relationship with me and him would foster into what it did, right? Like, it's, I feel like I have more friends in this community than I've had in, even when I played back in the day with Magic, or even, you know, God forbid, other, you know, various, you know, miniature games, right? So it's just, it's an intriguing atmosphere.
It is. And I know that, so there are big fish in these ponds. There are tiny fish in these ponds. Yeah, I'm somewhere in the swimmers. I don't exactly know where. But I always feel like,
space.
Yeah, I always feel like in the Flesh and Blood space specifically, there's nobody that I just can't talk to. I always feel like I can go up to anybody, and I don't, you know, I don't feel in any way that they think that they're better than me or anything else, and they probably are. Let's call a spade here. Like, I know what I do is dog shit. I see some of the effort that other people put in, and it's incredible. Like, it's always night and day, because you can go and look at the videos that Greg edited for me, because we actually recorded on time for once, and then the bullshit that I do. And Greg makes things look awesome. And I'm like, fuck it, construction paper, paste this shit and go. I don't give a shit.
Well, look what
And
Mansant's turned into since, like, I remember talking with him when he came to Indy. It was almost 2 years ago. The same time I
yeah,
said I had that footage issue with that hard drive is, he really didn't have a complicated setup then. I mean, he had a complicated setup, right? But, where he's evolved to today, the graphics, the show, the editing, the style, the commentary, all of that bundled together, it's a true show. And honestly, I don't know if Mansant ever will hear this, right? But maybe he will. It's a thank you. It's an honest to God thing where people don't seem to respect. People that are in the know how hard something is to do, but from the outside, they just expect to be, are you entertained? Entertain me, right? But like,
it's not that easy.
Knowing what I've had to deal with just to get like even this podcast to work with all, I know I have overly technical shit here. I get it. It's my own doing, but like at the same time, production value, quality, being able to control multiple cameras, like this is its own live show. If I wanted to, I could do all sorts of crazy shit, bring in different props and things. And this is only like 5-year-old technology. There's newer tech out than this where technically I could have multiple, head over head type stuff. And if you had a crew of 10 people, you could have a lights guy, you could have a sound guy, you could have a camera operator, you could have, a guy that cuts the scenes, everything. It's just a graphics editor that cuts, replay clips. You could make this the fucking NFL if you wanted to, but it costs money, it costs time, and people don't realize how much effort goes into those high production value shows.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, a little known fact, we'll go back to story time with Logan, I guess. But when I was in college originally, I was in college for television broadcasting.
Oh, nice.
It's where that's where I started. And I I was interning for NBC National News.
Oh, wow.
And during the Iowa caucuses, and that shit's cutthroat, by the way, to the point that we were we were in, and I think the statute of limitations on all this has run out, thank God. But I think 25 years ago is fine. But so I was helping run production for the Democratic after caucus party at the Hotel Fort Des Moines. And the IFB feed for NBC National had gone down. And the guy that was the producer that was running the show, so we had the producer, the director, me, the dumb fucking intern, and then the people who were actually filming and anchoring from inside. And he was like, and the IFB feed goes down. So that was the feed that was transmitting the talent's audio to the truck to go out. And the director's fucking in a panic. He's like, what the fuck? I don't have audio, blah, blah, blah. The producer looks at me, and I'm just going to call him the Wolf. I'm not going to use names. He's just the fucking Wolf. He turns around, looks at me. He's like, make it work. And I'm like, make what work? He's like, I don't care what the fuck you have to do. Nobody else goes live until we go live. I'm like, okay. So I go, and I find their feeds running to their trucks, and I pull the plug on every other network. So they can't go live until somebody triages their problem. And then I'm like, all right, they're not going live. He's like, what'd you do? I'm like, I pulled the plug on all of them. And he's like, my fucking man. All right, so I need you to go find why ours isn't working. I'm like, okay. So I trace back, and I'm like, hey, we have a problem here, and blah, blah, blah. And I go and trace it. And I'm like, I think it's just a bad cable, but we don't have time to run it. He's like, okay. Well, we have another setup, but it's going to take about 20 seconds to get it up. How much we got? And the director goes, 20 seconds to live. He's like, okay. So he pushes the button, doesn't tell talent, doesn't tell camera, doesn't tell anybody. And so they're getting ready to talk, and they're giving the cues out live from the camera to talent in the ballroom where we're not at. And we're sitting there, fingers crossed, and we can't hear them giving the countdown or anything else. We're like, we still can't hear them. And the first words we hear are when the talent starts talking exactly when she should have cut in.
Wow.
So within a quarter of a second. And I'm just like, fuck me. Well, that worked. And he's like, okay, let's we need to get some air now. They'll get it from here. Truck's got it from here. We walk outside and we're all just breathing. And I'm a 19-year-old kid, and the director is just like fucking shaking, and the producer's just still calm. He takes out a cigarette holder. He pops it open, hands it to me. I'm like, I don't smoke. He's like, you do tonight.
You do
I'm like,
tonight.
all right. So I grab a cigarette. He lights a cigarette for me. Director lights up a cigarette, and he's like, "Hey, got any whiskey in the truck?" He's like, "You mean the Templeton?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah. Why don't you go grab that bottle?" And we just sat outside of the Hotel Ford in Des Moines on the street and did shots of Templeton rye for about 45 minutes while we smoked like 6 cigarettes apiece. And then eventually he just like kind of cracks his neck. He's like, "Okay. So about time we shut down the broadcast." I'm like, "Then what?" He's like, "And you do whatever the fuck you want. I couldn't care less." I'm like, "So what do you mean by that?" He's like, "There are people in that room that could buy you and sell you 6 times over and wouldn't give a shit. But when you walk in, you have a badge and you can go where they can't. Just rub their fucking noses in it." Like, oh, that sounds like fun. So I walked around those between ballrooms for 4 hours. Just I had a press badge, so I could go wherever I wanted to go. And this was walking around with results are coming in. I got to meet so many people. I met Bill and Hillary Clinton. I met Al Gore.
Oh wow.
I stood next to Bill Bradley while all of the results came in. He got the shit kicked in. And it was a surreal experience. But seeing how fucking close the margins are on some of that shit, it's like, it's nuts.
You know,
It hasn't gotten that much different.
No, the best techs in the world are, honest to God, it's, if we had an issue, like let's say this was a live stream, right? I'm not as much trying to be the talent, right? But at the same time, you'd have to sit here, what's wrong? Is it a network problem? Is it an audio problem? Do I have a level wrong? Do I have a focus out? Like, the innumerable amount of things a one-man band has to check. As an example, by the time this is out, you will see in episode 4 of this, right before here, I had right-clicked on the Discord window, and somewhere over my head, there was the thing that talks about, like, initiate chat or whatever. So for half of the 95% of the video, there's a fucking, box over half of my head that I didn't realize, because I'm staring at it. I'm like, why does this box, like every time I'm going like this, I'm like, what's going on? And it's just sitting there, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? So I get up at like 2 hours into the thing, and I'm like, oh fuck me, it's been there the whole time. So lesson learned. Now I know to check for the audio and the video feed before I go live. Like,
Yep. Yeah.
you know,
And I guess that's the beauty part of doing the way we do things, because again, we're minimal edits. We don't do a whole lot as far as that goes. We're very I when I talked to you before, well, I guess it probably isn't on recording, I don't fucking know. But we do everything, is sort of in the South Park method of get it done and make it timely and get it out. So when you see an episode that shows up on Tuesday morning, odds are that episode was recorded hours before it came out, not days.
okay.
So I'm recording that shit at 9 o'clock Central Time. We're done recording that shit about 11:30 Central Time. I'm editing that at 11:30 Central Time until 1. Then I'm getting up at 5 in the morning to go to work. But before I go to work, I'm making sure that the goddamn file extracted for YouTube, and that YouTube didn't shit itself when I decided to just upload the thing.
I've had an upload where in the middle it does bitbarf bullshit, and it's like,
Yep.
It's like, what the fuck is this?
There was one where I uploaded an episode, and no shit, I go to work, and at work I get this message from Mara, and she's like, "Are you trying to fuck with people?" I'm like, I mean, yes. When am I not? And she's like, "Okay, well, I was wondering because, it's kind of, weird when you upload an episode with no audio." And I'm like, "Okay, well, wait, hold on. What?" She's like, "Yeah, the YouTube episode has no audio." I'm like, "Oh, fuck me." Yep. And so I run down, and I find out that somehow the video extracted without the video compressed without the audio.
That sucks.
And I'm like, immediately just tear down the show. And the audio only was still up and was fine, and then had to recompress everything. And because I'm me, I didn't save the edited version in the editing software. So I had to re-edit the whole fucking thing.
And
it was just,
that's the joy of it, right? Like you learn from your mistakes.
oh, I haven't done it again. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
But that's the thing, is that when people, and this is, sometimes it pisses me off too, because we'll get people that are sort of entitled about it. That the fact that we do put out an episode every week and have for 136 weeks, when there isn't something on time, they're always like, how hard could it be? I could have had an episode out. And it's like, then bitch, do it.
And this is why this is the grand reveal for me, by the way. This is why I'm going back to the basics. I took a step backwards, and now I am confirming with myself that I can have fun by doing a podcast once a week where I can have something. And then what I'm going to do is, now that I've hit the magic 5, I was hoping to go for a total of 8, make it 2 months, but I figured by now it's been over a month, because one a week does add up. I'm also filming these a little bit in advance to give me a little bit of buffer, because I know I have Gen Con coming up. But what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to sprinkle in another video. So I'm going to actually get to have 2 videos a week, which is going to be one guaranteed podcast, and then one of my formerly, what I would refer to as my highly edited, more scripted, concise
Polished
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because while I may feel a little bit more perturbed at the, God, I got to spend 4 hours on this video and the script and the teleprompter in my video and sync all this shit up and do the graphics, and I may not enjoy that as much as I enjoy, like, this conversation's been a blast. Like, every conversation I've had so far with people on this particular event has been more enlightening to me than every episode of what I have tried to do with everything on my channel, because this is real shit. This is the real people, the real everything. And I find that more exhilarating than me having the conversation with the lens, which is right in front of me. And while I can read and do whatever and have it do the fucking Anchorman style, Bama wingling, make shit up.
Go fuck yourself, San Francisco or San Diego.
At a certain point, the human to human interaction and the back and forth is what, in my opinion, makes videos important. That is the real delineator, in my opinion, behind a podcast that I do not enjoy listening to, or even if it's 3 idiots, yapping about shit with the name of a dead game, which I'll let that be up in the air. I used to listen to that quite a bit, and I still listen to it every once in a while, but at a certain point, if it's not entertaining and it's not on a topic I care about, I'm just not going to care. I'm not going to listen to it. So, all that said, I think I want to segue into the final adventure of where we're going to go, and we're going to give you a Scooby snack for sticking around and being such a good sport for so long. So let's see if I can time it. Bam! Oh, I'm too tiny. Let me do that again. Whoop.
Oh, here we go.
Bam!
Oh my God!
Oh, damn it! Hold on.
Jesus Christ! It's so
third time's a charm. Now let me go DVE left. No, right. I want to be right. There we go.
You want to be right. There you go. Okay,
right.
We're good.
So that's that. Now I'm going to quickly shift over to Cam 5 for this camera. And you get a selection of choices. So one of the staples of what I'm deeming as my support fab every year, meaning that if I'm going to do 52 of these in a year, or 50, that is equivalent of 2 booster boxes. So it's supporting both them and LGS. So we're going to pick one of these packs, because over the course of a year, I'll open 52 of them on the episodes. And then because you are such a fan of Star Wars Land, we're going to let you open one of my... I have limited amounts of these left, but I mean, obviously, as you know, the game's been around from fucking 95, so there's only so much of this shit around. And God, it's getting hard to find.
I have an entire... I think I have 30 packs of Unlimited Premiere still unopened.
I will... I'm listening
and
as I walk.
Then, obviously, I have a couple of Reflections and some Tatooine, and I think I have some New Hope around here. But my Star Wars CCG collection is still... It's still exactly what it was. It is a ton. There we go. Now we're doing it. Starters, baby.
I took one of those with me to the coaxing, and I opened one with Joey, actually, so...
I have a Vader space deck built for CCG right now.
The dark side. Hey, when you come here, do you own any uncut sheets of cards?
Just Alpha Clash.
Okay. I will have a present for you, but you'll have to somehow find a way to get home with you.
Oh, I have a car. Like I don't fly there.
Okay.
I try.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm going to give you a tube of something.
Okay, I accept. I like tubes.
Yeah.
I like series of tubes.
I bought this well before the quote unquote price spikes of COVID world happened. So I bought more. I bought more than enough, and I was originally going to make some coffee tables out of them, but I feel like you'll enjoy having one. So
okay, so we are going to open Welcome to Wraith. That's my open.
Okay.
And then Cloud City, obviously Cloud City.
Cloud City,
because that's going to have a it's going to have a Boba Fett in it.
Boba Fett. All right. So for those uninitiated, what in now that WTR has sailed into the sunset and Heavy Hitters has quote unquote replaced it.
Did you see that WTR cases got bought out?
What do you mean?
Like, I think the cheapest one on TCG Play right now is 400.
Okay, timeout. So you're saying unlimited WTR cases are gone?
Yeah.
No.
Well, they're
shit.
bought. Anything under like 400 was bought out like earlier today.
Really?
Yeah.
That is
unlimited.
That is hot off the press, and that is a little weird.
Well, I know who did it.
710. Oh, you know who did it?
I do know who did it.
I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, that says 9. 1, 2, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 cases sold today.
Yep. So the best, the cheapest price for one from a verified seller right now is $400.
That's Transient's store.
Yep. And I know who did it. I know who bought them.
Wow. Yeah, there is nothing fucking there.
Fascinating.
If I had the capital, I would do it. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Face it, a rainbow foil tunic is still a rainbow foil tunic.
It's correct. Let's see if we can get one.
Did I get a bobble?
Oh,
baby! Oh, okay, starting off fresh.
Starting off hot. I love Razor.
Nimblism.
Nope, we're out. Now we're in. We're out again. Now wait a second. Is this Belgian or is this Japanese?
This is Japanese. So
okay, so no drones. Okay.
So the next card would be the foil, right?
Should be.
So if I were to go and put that at the very back, which means the Majestics would be these two cards here, I think. Or if there was a Majestic and Rare. All right.
That sounds right.
Yeah, we did it right, boys. Look at that.
There's a response. That's a first pick.
Pack
yellow bellow. Sometimes you yellow bellow. Blue surging is good.
Just go again. I love it. Just straight.
Yeah, just clean. Go again. Fuck that card. It's not a blue.
I still think this is an important image in the game. I don't think people talk about the artwork as much, but I think
not yet. But
that is
Savage Swings. Whatever. It's a blue. Blocks 3.
There
we go. Leg tapping.
Ooh, we got
okay, there's Rhinar. Okay. Okay, so overpowers are rare.
Okay.
Disable's good. Blue disable's great.
Oh, it's a super foil.
It's a super foil though. It's a bonehead barrier. God damn it.
But it's a roll of dice. That's still fun.
It is a roll of dice. But no bobble for you, sadly.
Oh man,
I'm so sorry.
You
only get the one token in there, so if there would be no bobble if there was a hero.
Fucking so used to the 2 token. God, that's what happened. I'm so used to all the new stuff now. I've forgotten.
All right, so now give me that FET.
All right, so give me a little history on your experience with SWCCG.
Okay, so
that's how you know an old school. That's how you know somebody actually played the game versus somebody who's bullshitting you. Because if they don't say SWCCG, they never played.
Yeah, this is so. My SWCCG started in '96.
This is '97. This is what?
Yeah, '97. So Premier and New Hope were out when I started. And it was my first CCG, like total. Like I started this before Magic, and this became the gateway drug that became my life in these. And this is the most complicated CCG in history.
This is what I learned on. This was my first.
That's what I learned on. But it's so fucking cinematic. Like it's so good. Okay, so we have. I think it's a light side at rare, so you're looking at like probably Lobot or Lando.
Which one do you think's the rare? Is it this?
Should be the 5th one in.
1, 2, 3, 4. It's always. You think it's the fifth?
I
I
think
know
it's the
there's
fifth
no
round
rarity
break.
symbols on these, so it's hard to.
There's not.
Cloud
So
Car.
Cloud Car, I played a lot of those. You can make a Bespin deck that was pretty good.
So one thing for people that are uninitiated to know here. So like vehicles, Destiny, there was flavor text, and then there was actual keywords that were inside of it.
They're bolded. Yeah,
you
they
know,
were important.
and it actually meant a lot in the game. And it just
That yellow thing at the bottom right was permanent pilot.
Permanent pilot. You know what? Deploy, retreat, power, maneuver, land speed was how many sites you could move. So sites were a beautiful thing in this game.
Yep, Cloud City Engineers were there for the Bespin deck, so you could carbon freeze, lift tube escape. So an interrupt would have been something that you
that's your attack reaction.
Played. Yep, that's your reaction. So that's you played those at instant speed, quote unquote. A used
this
means
one
that it
go back
into your deck. Yep, and a lost means it's gone.
Because your life total in this game was your deck, if I remember.
Deck. Yes, correct. Okay, so this would be for the Cloud City technicians.
And it's a triple,
light side,
which means you could have up to 3 of them, right?
You could have 3 in play, so it's unique 3. Yep. Okay, so Shattered Hope should be your rare, but that's a lost interrupt.
See, I don't remember the rarities as well, so that's interesting that you know that right off the top of your head. That's kind of cool.
I opened a lot of this stuff, my dude. And then Sabak was weird because it's
a game within a game.
It's a game within a game. Yep.
It's Shahrazad or Shahrazad.
Sort of Shahrazad for that, and then Worklet. So that one.
I'm your father.
I am your father's great, but that one pip next to her name that means unique 1. That means that you can only have 1 in play at a time.
Immediate effect.
Yeah,
effects are your auras
and it stays in play. Yep.
That's a beautiful piece of artwork too.
And then 6 at the top right corner was so important because the way that combat worked, and I can't. It's an entire another podcast to explain
Destiny
combat
draws,
in this game. But it was usually you total up your power, and then you total up your abilities. Defense, and then you compare those two things, and then so agility and maneuver, and you compare those two things. And power greater than the other goes the other direction. And then if you had enough ability on the field, you would then flip the top card to your deck. And that top right corner, the number was added to. And then that became your total power. Then there was attrition. It's a whole fucking thing.
All right. We finally made it to this part in the video.
All right. Okay.
The real shit show will now commence.
Okay.
All right. Here's the request. I have never done a tier list, and I've always been scared of tier lists.
That's fair.
Something you do not know, which is coming because I haven't done it, is this box here. This box I spent over 2 hours opening one of every TCG that I could get my hands on a pack for, including some old, this is a TSR pack from 1992.
Oh, wow.
I have Star Trek, the customizable card game in here.
Decipher again.
This was a very expensive endeavor. There's even Alpha Clash in here, mind you. There's some other games, Sorcery.
I have plenty of that.
Pokemon. There's more Star Wars in here. There's Digimon. There's Lorcana. There's God knows what else. I put more effort into trying to track those packs down than really any one person should ever try.
Okay.
That video will come out at some point. I wanted a more concise, and I wanted to have a conversation with somebody. What that video was missing that I filmed when I was done with it, my heart said I was missing the back and forth banter of the value, long-term viability, and not the is it a worth it to play. That's not what this video or not what this section is going to be, but more so whether or not the mechanics and the company and the viability and the overall ecosystem of that game is worth someone looking at. Now, I get that someone's going to say every game that's developed, I'm staring at you, MetaZoo. Every game is designed for somebody to have fun with.
Down there, the nope zone. That's
but
fine.
That's the dead nope.
Let's go ahead and do that right there. Yeah.
So we removed one already. But what I guess I want to do is I want to get a little bit of your opinion, of your profession, of your unfiltered, unbiased, hopefully, look at these games, because this is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm not gonna have us do this. Okay.
Yeah, Warlords up in there. I see that. All right.
I kind of
There's Lord
put
of the
some.
Rings.
I front loaded some ones that we might talk about because I've seen Nostalgic at conventions recently. Primal's been at
Yeah.
conventions.
Primal's been back.
Ikoria is gone. But like
Yeah.
some of these in here
Well,
are.
Ikoria's not gone. It's just
Oh really?
Orkana.
I thought Ikoria was dead. I thought they.
Oh no, Ikora. So yeah, sorry, that one is dead.
Yeah, but like some of these down here, I've never even touched some of these. Like I get there's some Pokemon Spellfire I remember seeing as a young kid. Star Trek,
That's
like
Star
I know
Trek
that
TCG,
exists, right? There's
Rift.
There's so many in here that I'm sure again this could be a fucking like an entire series of
Do you
conversations.
have the Bible one on there? What's it called? Sacrifice or Sanctity or whatever?
If I know what the card back looks like, it might be on here. There's Warlord, right? They just brought that back. All right. Anyways, I found this and I was like, this is a fuck ton of games, so we're not gonna do that. So I narrowed it down to the games that I
that's
felt
not the right one. God damn it. Okay, but
these were the games that I felt were somewhat relevant because these were the games that, for the most part, minus now Genesis Battle of Champions, which I want to maybe start with that one.
All right.
These are the games that are still currently in production. So that was my only criteria for this. Is a lot of these games, minus again Metazoo's now dead. These games are still viable, and technically, this is if a game store were to walk in and have a holy grail of everything, you would have every set from every one of these because this is what the world currently has to offer. Well, I guess TCG is dead too, but
it's so good. Like, leave it there. We're talking about that.
We're gonna have some conversation. There's some of these that just are so good you can't not talk about them. So
yeah, 100%.
All that said, where would you like to begin? Obviously, we can do a quick blurb on the Metazoo, which I did say the only thing about Metazoo I cared about was the fourth wall was really interesting, but fuck, the cardboard quality was just such shit.
So Metazoo was the most obvious pump and dump of all time, and like it's more obvious a pump and dump than fucking Trump coin. Like this is that bad, and the only interesting part of Metazoo was that they did regionally located cryptids. So like the Jersey Devil, was a promo, or like the Van Meter Visitors, because that's an Iowa cryptid, was at the Van Meter Visitor Festival was the only place to get that card. That's somewhat interesting at the very least. But the game was always just reeked of a scam to just get as much money as possible and get the fuck out as fast as you can. The gameplay itself, like a dude won the first major tournament simply because it was his birthday, and a card in his deck was better because it was his birthday. Do you know how fucked that is?
That seems pretty ridiculous. But how do you also do I have to have my ID out and show that on every game to prove it?
Yes. But because you had to bring props. You had to bring props to the fucking table for that game.
Here's my Christmas tree.
Yes.
Let me drag my casket in. Hold on.
Yeah. It's like the zookeeper himself, Dagan White, tells stories about that fucking event because that's the one he was banned at. But
he was banned.
You don't know that story?
No, I don't.
Oh, so there's this giant Metazoo event in Texas, right? It's the first big like cash event at Collecticon in Texas.
Okay.
And Dagan picks up the game for like 2 weeks, learns it, and then so he puts in the Metazoo Discord that, hey, I'm coming to Texas, I'm playing this event, I just learned the game, and everybody's like, oh, you dumb fuck, blah blah, you're coming here to get your ass kicked, we're gonna corn on you and shit like that, because he's from Iowa. And so he goes down and he is wrecking people. After day one, because it cuts to like top 32 after day one, and he's X-1. And he posts on Twitter that I'm 6-1 or X-1 or whatever it was. This game, everybody, the round's been pretty easy. Everybody in the game kind of feels like they're new. That was the quote.
Okay.
And so then that night when he's in his hotel room, going to sleep, he gets a message from the creator of Metazoo saying, hey, we're going to actually disqualify you from the tournament and ban you from Metazoo for your toxic attitude. He's like, what the fuck are you talking? Because he's now guaranteed money. Like he is guaranteed like $2,000 in prizes for where he was sitting just at that record.
Really?
And they DQ'd him, and they screenshotted that tweet as the reason and sent it to him. And then they banned him the game and disqualified him from the tournament only because they didn't want him winning. Was the real reason.
That's
after
insane.
all the shit that they had talked to him. So it was at that event that he got banned at. But he was telling me about one guy. So like, there was a turtle card that like if you the things that you could touch, like you had to put your palm on the turtle, and the things that you could touch, like something happened to him, right? So this guy was like, hey, calls a judge over. He's like, hey, judge, can you watch this? And the judge is like, okay. He's like, yeah, just tell me if this is cool or not. And he puts his hand down. He's double jointing all his fingers. So he starts bending his fingers and breaking them. Looks like he's breaking them to get to different cards. And Dagon's like, what the fuck? Like, what? This is what the why? And yeah, so that kind of shit. Fuck MetaZoo. Like,
somebody gave me, so back to the bulk thing, right? Somebody was exiting a bunch of games. I have hundreds of sealed, like, between boxes and things, because they just donated it to me because they were like, this is worthless. So I have a bunch of that in the garage, and then I have a bulk box of, like, MetaZoo, like, cards and stuff, and it's just, like, intriguing because at certain points, like, I'm just so curious about it, but, like, it just seems like the game is just not there.
It's
like,
trash.
Yeah.
So. Redemption is the card game I was thinking of. That's the Christian Bible game. But
okay.
I don't know if that's in there or not, but
by the way, can you see the second bottom row here, or did I block that out?
No, I can see it. We're good.
Okay. I know my little clip of the thing is I have a bigger video on Discord or whatever, but I think in my recording I might have it covered. So I was just making sure.
I can make this all bigger. I have a 49-inch ultra wide monitor, so we're good.
Sexy. So what do you want to talk about next? What's the next game?
Give me sorcery.
Sorcery.
I'm very interested. Yeah, so it should be bottom row, third from the right.
Bing.
Yeah. Okay.
Where are we at with sorcery? Because I have an opinion on it.
We're gonna put this in great.
Great.
Excellent.
I like sorcery. Legends.
That's right. I like sorcery, but I want to make sure I qualify this the way that I believe that it needs to be qualified. And that is, sorcery is not a TCG. Sorcery is a board game.
Sorcery?
It's a really good board game, though. Like, it's a kick-ass board game.
But they sell it like an LCG. Well,
right.
A TCLCG.
A TCLCG is about right.
I mean, I have beside me, I have probably 4,000 to 5,000 bulk because I bought a bunch of alpha from somebody who opened all the premium cards and was like, I just want to sell the rest. So I have my master play set so that, again, if somebody wanted to play, right, I could have a deck for me and them. And then I have the starter decks over here. So I've had some experience, and in our local scene, I got the playmat and everything else. The playmat's fucking beautiful.
Oh, that's the thing. It's like, that's what pissed me off about the game, though, is that it felt like I needed the playmat.
You really do. You almost actually do need the playmat. It's a scenario where that is a key component.
And it became a barrier of entry for me because I couldn't readily find it. So I just didn't buy it.
Bro, just print it on a printer paper or get a Sharpie out and draw on your table a grid.
You could, or you could have the sick playmat that felt like it was necessary to play the game.
That is true. But
now I have I don't know if I bought an arena from Game Theory tables.
Okay.
And it's a 65-inch touchscreen table.
Oh, that's cool.
So I could just put the grid literally on the table.
That would actually be pretty sweet, actually.
And so I can play sorcery now, but that doesn't come until like September though.
Cool. Dare I ask how much something like that retails for?
$5,000.
That's not bad,
but not the worst.
I'd love to see the craftsmanship on the wood. I'm a sucker for wood stuff, man.
I think they'll be at Gen Con, but it has. But yeah, the touchscreen's built in with its own computer and everything else, so it's it's completely independent. You don't have to hook anything else up to it. It's really cool.
Nice.
Let's do Digimon. Let's talk about Digimon.
So I'm gonna preface this with Digimon is a part of a greater scheme of products from Bandai.
We're gonna just call Bandai.
And Bandai constitutes both Digimon. You have One Piece. You have
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball Super. Now I think Dragon Ball Fusion is the new one.
That sounds right.
And then there's actually a couple. I thought there was a couple more.
My Hero Academia is Universus, isn't it?
So Bandai, the games themselves.
Not Grand Archive.
No, that's Weaves at the Shore. That's a whole different ball of wax. See, I don't like Bandai. Oh, that's totally different.
Bandai Card Shop. So
I thought there was another one because I know that they had at least 4 or 5. Battle Spirit Saga, that's the other
Battle
one.
Spirits. That's what I'm thinking of. Yep.
One Piece, Dragon Ball, BSS, and then yeah. So this is
Yep.
the we're gonna lump all these now that you've mentioned one of them. So we're gonna begin with your Digimon and we'll continue through the rest. So go ahead with Digimon.
So Digimon to me is a meh.
Okay.
I thought that it had some uniqueness to it, and I was interested by that, but the gameplay just wasn't enough of a hook. Like, I didn't really feel like it was gonna do. Like, it never held my interest for more than about half a game.
Okay. I have not had too much experience with Digimon. I bought the starters. I had somebody try to teach it to me. I bought a half price books lot. I love to buy used stuff, by the way. I don't know, that's my fucking kryptonite, apparently. But I bought a giant binder that had a bunch of Digimon in it, and they were the coolest shiny looking cards ever. But I swear to God, there was no value. It was like 15 cents, 20 cents. I thought I'd found a gold mine when they were like, hey, it's 25 bucks to get this. And I ended up with like $6 in cards. And I'm like, you got to be shitting me. So, like, there literally was zero value in what I found. But I also was never that big into the anime stuff in general. And I know Digimon, when that was out, I was definitely more in the Pokemon sphere. But so I get what it was about. Now, the only catch to this is I will say with Digimon, there was an original, and I think I have it a little bit in some of this shit I have on the site here, but there's like an original OG looking version of the Digimon cards. It used to be like some sort of paper back in the day. And this here, I don't know if this is going to show up well on camera. That style of card, if it was all this, I think I would find much more excitement in the game because that's what I remember as a child.
Gotcha. I don't have. I mean, I'm too old for that shit.
That's the extent of my experience with the game.
All right. Let's take DB Super now.
Super.
And let's do this. We're going to put that in the great tier. I think that Super is a very interesting competitive game for what it's worth. I think that it had a lot of good bones and good legs.
Okay.
It definitely suffered from power creep problems very quickly because mechanically it was a little too simplistic.
Okay.
And so there's a couple of games later here that we're going to talk about that I'm going to directly compare to DB Super, but we're going to put DB Super in the B tier. I think that's where it belongs. I don't think we call it dead yet, but it's real close.
And I haven't had too much experience with the DB Super games specifically. I, again, go back to the lots of cards I bought. I found a 2,000 or 3,000 count box of it at Half Price Books because apparently I'm just addicted to that store. And while the cards were really entertaining and there was a lot of stuff there, because I have not really soaked myself into the DB or Dragon Ball anime series or the manga, I'm not really familiar with the IP as much, so it didn't really resonate much with me.
Yeah.
But I've heard good things about the new reboot, which I think is the latest version, but no one has the cards for that. Like, it's unobtainium. Apparently.
No. It is unobtainium until, I believe, Gen Con. So, back to Gen Con again.
All right, which one do you want to go with, BSS or One Piece?
Let's do BSS.
All right. What do you think?
I put this in the meh tier for me.
Okay.
Because it was one of those things that it's the opposite direction of DB Super. It's needlessly complicated with little added to it for the complication. So it felt like it was trying to do things for the sake of doing things, and that never feels good when you add mechanical components to a game because you're trying to be more dissimilar, I guess. That's what the game felt like to me, and I just wasn't into it.
I did a learn to play because, again, the individual taught me both One Piece, which we'll come up to in a second, and BSS to kind of learn both. And the only thing interesting about BSS that I really enjoyed was, one, there was dinosaurs because I like Jurassic Park, and I was like, dude, that speaks to me. On a spiritual level, I'm like, I'm all in. But then I played the game, and I was like, there's a lot of complications with these orbs and the crystals and moving the reds and the blues and then managing that and knowing that at any point in time there's like this ability for you to like suck all that shit off and to put it on another creature. And the power levels were fucking numbers that were just like my math brain, even though I love big numbers, I'm like, this is making no sense. Like, why not make these 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 instead of like 1,000, 10,000, 5,000, which is a very anime thing, I'm sure. But like,
It is.
the only thing I kept thinking is every time I got a number over 9,000, I was like, over 9,000. That's like, it's all I did.
That's
And
why like triggered you.
I just giggled, and that was it. So
Yeah.
I would agree. I think it's a meh game. However, I do actually keep both of those starter decks on the side because I feel like in a bubble ecosystem, some point I'll go back and I'll at least enjoy it in casual. But I would never pick this up as a competitive game.
Almost like an LCG again. Yeah.
And the other thing is, I was able to buy booster boxes for $35 from this guy,
for nothing.
and he said, "Oh yeah, when you open that up, I got like 10 of these X rares and some other crazy stuff." But like again, the grand total of what I opened from that box was like $6. But at the same time, if I wanted to just have a conniption fit because I was sad and I wanted to open a fuck ton of product, I could drop $100 and open 80 packs or whatever. It's like great, cool, So there's that.
Okay.
One Piece.
So One Piece. This may surprise people, but I'm going to put a One Piece in the A tier.
Oh, okay.
I think One Piece is the best constructed Bandai game, and
really,
I think it's because they leaned in to the identity aspect. So a big thing in games is identity, identity, identity.
You mean like color identity? Because I think they have colors in that game.
Character identity.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So in this case, you have Luffy players and you have other fucking pirate players.
Soja King or pirate, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you have all of these different characters and people identify with those characters. So they found something to sink into to really draw people in. And then the game it checks off the two things that I think are most important in a game. Easy to learn, difficult to master.
Which is a great combo.
Right, it really is. And I honestly think that if One Piece would have been if One Piece wouldn't have been made by Bandai, and because they kill everything, that's just kind of their MO.
It's Fantasy Flight. I spoiled another thing later. Sorry.
Yeah, it is. And if it wasn't Bandai and it was more accessible early, I probably would be playing this game actively, at least at some point. So I think that One Piece is quite good and belongs in the A tier.
Cool. I've bought starters. I've bought booster packs. I've played some, again, demo games. I've played a little bit. I've understood a little bit of the mechanics. I haven't drafted. I haven't done any of the hardcore stuff. But it is intriguing that the system with the Dawn and the whole, like, shifting it around, again, having that layer of complexity where you can have these, like, complicated turns where you have to know how many resources they have and things. I like that aspect. It reminds me of a different resource system that has some mental gymnastics, but at the same time, the absolute core, like you said, I learned how to play within 10, 15 minutes. And it's then trying to understand, well, why was I able to maybe outmaneuver, outpace this person? Especially when you start getting a bunch of different heroes in it, because this wasn't the game with lanes. No. BSS was the one with lanes.
No, BSS is the lanes. Yeah.
One Piece did not. Yeah, when they had the One Piece mat, it was you have everybody out, but you could like tap them, and then you could attack the character that was tapped or whatever, versus the one that was not exhausted. So there was some deeper strategy that really, once you started thinking about it, it was. And they got like the Pokemon prizing system kind of a thing, if I recall. That's one of the other
similar.
Aspects.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So let's go to Final Fantasy really quick. We're going to put Final Fantasy. We're going to put it in the great. We're going to B tier it. Now,
you're saying Final Fantasy?
Yep.
B tier.
Final Fantasy TCG. We're going to put it in the B tier.
Okay.
It's close to A. It's close to A on card quality alone. Because the
so
card
ahead
quality
of sorcery, like I guess this is the other fun thing, like right, like where do you layer it in here?
I would put it in the middle. I'd put it ahead of DB Super, behind sorcery.
Okay.
I think if somebody said, if two people went to me and said, "Hey, I've got 2 sorcery decks with the playmat," and another person said, "But I've got these 2 Final Fantasy decks," I would say, "Let's play sorcery."
I would concur with that. Yep.
I think that Final Fantasy is effectively Dragon Ball Super with better cards. They feel consistent to each other in a lot of different ways with the characterizations and with, like, again, Big Number Go Burr, that also exists in Final Fantasy.
I bought several into this game, but I'd never even played it. Like, I tried to get the starters to play, but the rule, like when I filled out the rule thing, it reminded me of SWCCG, man.
Yeah,
it was deep.
It's needlessly deep because the game is actually pretty basic, at least the fundamentals of the game. So yeah, I would put it there. I think it's a good game. I think they put a good game together. I just don't think that it was executed particularly well marketing wise. The fans of it are very, very loyal. They're stans, man. And if you've never felt the card quality on those fucking things,
They're thick.
like if
They remind
if
me of
you
One Piece and Digimon and
if you
DSS.
gambit those at somebody fast enough, you may kill them.
Yeah,
I mean, it is sturdy.
it's
I still use
definitely the foil patterns were very beautiful on those too.
yeah, and I used Chocobos as Thopter tokens when I played Magic. So
Apparently, the Final Fantasy is coming to a crossover universe in MTG, and that's going to apparently break things.
Yep, I've heard. Okay, what do you want to pick now? You pick one.
Ooh, I'm going to do a softball because I have thoughts, but I'm not sure where I would put this. So this is Genesis Battle of Champions, and this is
It's in the dead.
This is definitely in the dead, but I am going to at least give this, in my opinion, a dead, but seriously try it. And my opinion on that is, one, I do have quite a bit of these cards because, again, when somebody said I'm done, I basically said, give me a number, and it was such a low number, I'd be stupid not to buy it because the cardboard alone was just worth having, whether I make it for wallpaper or something else. But the mechanics and the fact that it reminds me of kind of like a predecessor to Sorcery, because I think it technically came out before then, where you have this gridded mat, and you kind of play spells and do it. It's like a board game in a box. So I really enjoyed the concept. However, the card stock, in my opinion, wasn't that great. The artwork was not something I cared about, but the mechanics and the other pieces seemed fun enough. But that was the level I was at with it. I knew some folks here in the area where, again, the gentleman who gave me a bunch of his MetaZoo that left also had a bunch of Genesis and some other various games that he was very big into. And, you know, having access to some of these cards that I never even got, because, again, I only got the commons and rares or whatever, you know, it was neat to see some of these more advanced cards because that was the stuff I'd never got to see. So anyways, that's where I'm at with it. I think it's dead, but at least trying.
I think it's a C tier game if it's retail, if you're paying retail, but if when you're in the dead category and you can buy it for pennies on the dollar, it's definitely worth a try. I think that you're spot on.
I don't even know. Can you buy it on TCG Player anymore?
I don't know. I thought it was dead. But I could be wrong. I know you could probably get it on eBay.
Oh, everything's on eBay, man.
For the most part.
I do not see Genesis Battle of Champions. Actually, you know what? Now I remember, I think there was a conversation. They were in process of trying to get on TCG Player, and I think all that kind of shit went tits up with it. But I will say that the only thing that really kind of catches my eye with this, that is something that I know was near and dear to me, was this was the first game that, as a content creator in YouTube sphere, I remember getting a letter, and it's somewhere around here in my stack of, you know, keepsake items, that it had like a seal, and it was like, hey, thank you for you know, having faith in our game and blah 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 and that kind of stuff. So there is that component that I feel also guided me in the at least give this a try category, because there's other games that have been sent to me that I'm sitting on that I'm not sure I want to do stuff with yet, because I'm, you know. But anyways, that's I'll wrap up Genesis at that point. So okay,
so give me another one. Your pick.
I don't know anything about this game.
It's not for me. Just put it down there and call it good.
Okay, nothing of loss. Now I hear everybody talk about Force of Will all the time. What the heck? I mean,
okay.
What is Force of Will? It's an anime-ish game. I know that.
It's dead now, right?
I don't know. Let's look. I think it's...
To me, it goes in the nope zone just because the entire premise to me is cringe.
Force of Will TCG will be hosting a Grand Prix online. So apparently their FOW.com, for FOW TCG, there is a bunch of stuff online. Now, whether that's still the official products, I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be a no for me, dog. I mean, again, the aesthetic isn't for me. The gameplay isn't for me. It's just not. Like I'm
so
out.
Let's book in this with Weebs of the Shore Grand Archive. That was a Kickstarter, right? This is one of the other ones. So what
it is?
What are you thinking?
I'm very much so meh on Grand Archive. I just didn't care.
So I have a couple of, I think, the starters, and I had one booster pack from something, and there's a lot. It's like Yu-Gi-Oh. It's a mouthful of text on every card. I don't understand it.
Yeah, and it's
I'm sure someone's going to be very angry with me, by the way. I'm
Several
positive.
people probably, but to me, it's I don't have any. I don't like Grand Archive. I again the games that I think are the best ones are the ones that you can teach in 5 minutes an experienced card game player, but there's nuance enough that it takes a real master to do it.
It's like I'll learn whether Neopets is something I mentioned in a Gen Con based on my first 5 minutes of trying it.
Right. Yes. I knew Star Wars Unlimited, and we can go that one next if you want to.
Sure.
But I
Yeah.
knew Star Wars Unlimited was for me immediately upon playing it
So
because it scratched the right itches. It's S tier, just outstanding.
okay.
Must play.
Let's spend 5 minutes educating me. Now, I obviously behind me I have Star Wars. Star Wars as an IP is great. I used to play SWCCG, so it checks every single box. But why do you call it S tier? What elevates it to that level for you?
They did something. They did something a little bit different because they took the laned gameplay and then merged it with like the artifact mechanics of the back and forth. And
I thought this was based off of Destiny,
sort of,
or
yes.
it was like a spiritual successor to Destiny.
It's a spiritual successor to Destiny. It's probably what Destiny would have looked like if they just didn't do the fucking dice.
I love
they
those
did.
dice, though. I'll tell you.
Sure. And the gameplay is quick. It's easy to teach. Nice. It has the turn structures have a lot of nuance to them once you get past the basics. And the game itself plays super smooth. Actually, take it down one tier for one reason and one reason only.
Fantasy
Product availability.
Well, do you think that's going to be fixed with the new set? Because my
No.
LGS got, I think he said over 70 boxes, but they also ordered heavy in set one, which apparently the rule right now is they could only order as much as they ordered for set one.
Correct.
But I'm also seeing a lot of people saying that their stores got nothing, or they got one or two, or they're not adding more people. And, you know, Lorcana did this. We'll probably come to them right after this. They did this whole come in with no stock, went to nothing, and now they have so much stock that apparently it's being fire sold for like pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, correct. Yep. And so I think the game is excellent. I think it's exactly what I touched upon. It can teach it in 5 minutes, but it has a ton of nuance. And you're stressed in deck building. You're stressed in sequencing. You're stressed in gameplay to understand, you know, like the things that people don't get. Sometimes just as simple as the initiative token and how and the when to take it and when not to.
That was a fun concept to learn during my pre-release, the very first one I did.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the game, and I do have concerns about design space, but as far as and then the draft experience is awesome.
Okay.
And that's a big thing for me is an awesome draft experience.
I mean, the booster box price right now on TCG for the latest set, Shadows of the Galaxy, is about 165, and the first one, Spark of Rebellion, is about 205. So that gives me chills of like, you know, Monarch and Flesh and Blood kind of shit.
Except for we know it isn't CFB sandbagging boxes. We actually know that there just isn't much of it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, not to drag anybody,
on
but
them. Yeah,
but that's my feeling on Unlimited. Yeah, that's true. What do we have down here?
Let's go to. I think a couple quick ones would be like Weiss Schwartz. Where would that? I mean, to me, this is to
me, it's a not for me, but it's the whole anime thing.
This is also Shadowverse Evolve is a not for me because I don't know much about it. Weiss, this one also is probably on the.
Which one's that?
This is Weiss or We Cross, the WeX.
Out on that too.
I also don't know much about Vanguard though. So do you know?
Card Fight Vanguard?
Yeah, Buddy. I think it's called Buddy Card Fight Vanguard.
So it's a newer one. I guess I don't know then.
Yeah.
So I guess I'd slip that in the not for me because I'm never going to touch it.
Duel Masters, any idea?
Oh boy, that's got to be dead, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Duel Masters has to be gone.
Let's look at list of TCG's Wikipedia.
Duel Masters trading card game.
Duel Masters, Wizards of the Coast, 2004, still in production.
Damn. I guess game is.
I just don't know a damn thing about it.
Nope, I just don't know enough about it. So I'm going to have to throw that there.
This is Netrunner, by the way, from what I gathered.
Oh,
Right?
Netrunner's fantastic.
I
That's dead,
think
but worth a try.
Netrunner, yeah. So that's the one that I think Team Covenant was super big on.
I liked Netrunner a lot.
I'll put that in front of Genesis.
Yeah.
These I don't have any order I care about.
No.
So we had the big three. We'll come back to those. Big four, Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean,
Well, we're going to talk about Alpha Clash and World of Warcraft at the same time. So
okay.
we'll save for a minute in a minute.
Okay.
So you have Lorcana and
This is universes or
Yep. So universes.
Yeah.
Universes to me is a weird one because it's not in the S tier by any stretch of imagination. I think that goes in somewhere between B and C.
Okay.
But it's entirely dependent on if they have an IP you care about in their system.
Got it. That's the one that they kind of take the IP and they morph it into their game. Because I think I've seen My Hero Academia recently or some other ones. Okay.
And they just jam it into the systems like Yu Yu Hakusho, I think, is one of them. Inuyasha, like a lot of different anime stuff. But the game itself is okay. I think it's fine. But the investment is based on whether or not they have an IP you care about. That's really it. So let's do a Lorcana now. This may piss people off, but it's going in the C tier for me.
Okay. Where in the C tier?
I would put it towards the top of the C tier. I think it's the head of Digimon.
Okay.
So my relationship with Lorcana was I kind of like read into it. I learned a little bit about it. I said, okay, maybe this can scratch the itch of Magic for me. Because I quit when I left Magic in 2021. So basically when I started Fab, I dropped Magic. And I've always had the itch to kind of play some more of those high variance skill test games where sometimes you have to beat variance and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I thought Lorcana could be that, but at the end of the day, Lorcana just felt like dumbed down Magic. And that's not what I was looking for. It's like to the point that I played in exactly one Lorcana tournament. And I picked up a deck with 0 reps. And I lost out on top 8 on breakers. Having never played the deck into any matchups. Period. To the point that in round 1, I beat my round 1 opponent, and he looked at me and went, "Man, this is like a tough matchup for you. You navigated that like a pro. Like you must have played this matchup a lot." And I'm like, I've never played this game.
This is my first game.
This is my first game. And he was just like, "Oh," I'm like, "Yeah, it's just Magic, but there's no instance, or blocking really. I mean, it's just easier."
My only experience with this has basically been what I found at Gen Con. We got in early. I got some boxes, opened it up. The wife really likes the intellectual property, so there's value in that. The gameplay seemed very linear. I don't mind it, but it's I would rather play this with my sister's kids as they grow up because it's a first start game versus me showing them like blood, guts, gore from either, Flesh and Blood, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, any of those ones that might have some more risque type stuff, or even Sorcery is a good example of some of that might exist for that artwork that's maybe not super child friendly. But the one golden nugget I think they have is they did beat a majority of these other games to a at least playable and functioning PvE, which I have sitting over to the side. So there is this Ursula PvE product that they came out with, and honestly, while it's not the best thing, it's not a turd, it actually kind of works. So I would get it, again, I would say it's either bottom of C, or to me, I would put it basically in the behind, so if I had to pick, it would be behind I would rather play Sorcery over this, but I would still play it. So between the B and the C tier would be where I'd drop it. So
I think that's fine.
All right, you mentioned these two, and obviously
now a real conversation.
Yeah, these are where the wheels might, gloves are coming off, no hold barred. Let's.
Yeah, this is difficult too.
I have to probably preface this right with at this point, there's probably going to be some introduction of some biases that may be warranted to disclose before the continuation of this conversation.
They are. So first things first. Put Unlimited ahead of One Piece in the A tier.
Okay, hold on. So we're doing where are we? You're
A tier. Unlimited is ahead of One Piece. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
All right. So start with World of Warcraft TCG.
Wow. Yeah.
Uh,
I have a deck behind me, by the way. Like,
it
I know,
is.
I know it looks like a fucking shit pile behind me, but like, I always kept my favorite deck of everyone, and Beast Tamer was my
Oh
guy.
my god. It's an S tier.
This is S tier. Okay.
Dead game, but it's dead.
Fuck it. We'll put it in S
So,
tier.
the reason that yeah, I think you have to put it at the front of that tier because it's dead, but it is one of the best conceptualized games that's been printed. It has robust PvE because you can go on PvE raids.
I have plenty of those boxes over here
They're
too.
so good. It has and then the PvP is very good. And the reason that we're talking about it alongside Alpha Clash is because Alpha Clash inadvertently is the same fucking game.
How?
The resourcing system is almost identical.
You mean to pick any card and put it as a face? Is it a face-up resource?
Face-up resource.
Okay.
And the way that the game plays is super similar. To me, it belongs at the front of the B tier or the back of the A tier.
Okay, we'll give it the back of the A tier.
The reason being, and again, we'll let's talk about the biases, right? Let's get that out in the open. I work with them quite frequently. The CEO is local to me. I'd call Ridge a friend.
I want to get educated more on this game personally.
I cast their games, so yeah, there's a lot to be said here as far as my bias. I've played the game a ton. What? How many master sets do you want, buddy? Like, I got you covered.
I don't know. We'll talk about that after the thing, because I mean Hamilton's playing it, right? So he's obviously doing I'm gonna follow his trends, because if he thinks the game's good, then obviously there's What is that?
That is a sample series from the Patreon from the before Kickstarter that is a pristine CGC 10.
So I think I have this was a Kickstarter pack that I opened, by the way, so I don't know if that was worth doing or not, but I opened
Oh, sure.
I had one laying around, so again in my video I opened a Kickstarter. But I love their foiling patterns. The foiling is really nice.
This is a Kickstarter master set, so every card, period.
Wow.
Again, I have it.
I will say the card stock is pretty nice. I think the one thing that doesn't resonate super well with me is I've never been a huge comic book fan, aka the superhero thing. So for me, this doesn't scratch that itch. If I ignore the art completely and the mechanics are good, which I think at Origins 2 years ago or a year and a half, was it 2 years ago? I got to demo this with somebody that was there, and it seemed really, really useful. I mean, I bought Team Covenant boxes, so I have their promo and a couple of the first boxes laying around somewhere. But
I think you actually played with me, to be honest. But
it probably was.
But they changed the art style so that it leans more into the comic book aesthetic, so it's actually more consistent in later sets, which is nice. But
some of these almost remind me of like ChatGPT drew kind of a thing.
These do not. Like, these are the newer.
Oh, okay.
Style. They don't look like that anymore.
Got it. But face it, this was set 1. Like I'm judging something based on the fact that this was the at best worst it could ever get at set 1, right? Like,
and there's 3 sets now, so there's that.
Got it.
But so the reason that I wouldn't put it ahead of One Piece or Star Wars is they are still learning how to make it draftable, and that's a big deal to me.
I am gathering based on the community feedback of just TCGs in general.
Yep, but what they did do is funny stories, okay? Like, let's anecdote this out because I have a lot of these. When I met Ridge Kiley, so the CEO of Rising Empire Studios and the creator of Alpha Clash, was at my local game store, and I'd walked in and it was before Armory, and the manager was like, "Hey, do you want to demo Alpha Clash?" I'm like, "Sure." Is there somebody here just teaching? He's like, "Yeah, the CEO will be here." I'm like, "Why the fuck is the CEO going to be here? He's like, the game's out of Vegas." And he's like, "CEO lives in Ames, man." I'm like, "That's weird." So CEO shows up. Turns out he's from Iowa, and he's like, "Say, sorry, I'm late. I was supposed to be here earlier, but I was at a funeral." And I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm so sorry to hear that." And he's just like, "Yeah, it's okay." I'm like, "So where were you?" And what town?" And he's like, "Oh, it's just some little town in northern Iowa. You've never heard of it?" And I'm like, "Uh-huh. So try me." He's like, I mean, come on. There's no way you know this town." I'm like, "Go for it." He's like, "It's a little town called Elgona." I'm like, "Yeah, that's the town I'm from." And he's like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm from there." I'm like, "Who died?" And says the guy's name. I'm like, "Oh shit, really?" He's like, "You knew him?" Like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, that's my great uncle." I'm like, "Oh damn." And so conversation starts from there, and then we talk about the game. Like, he teaches me the game, we talk about the game, and I'm like, "Okay, so what's this like to draft?" And he goes, "What's draft?" And I went,
Oh gosh.
"Oh no,
Oh
oh
no.
no." And like, I was like, "Okay, so a couple of things real fast. One, this game needs to be draftable." And so they put in a lot of work and a lot of effort with the dev team and everybody else that works on the game, and they built this. I guess I have it with me. I have one behind me because I own all this shit. Um, they built this thing, which is a draft box. So it's an amalgamation of sets 1 and 2 in a fully draftable box. It's just designed to literally encompass an 8-player draft in one box with tokens and everything.
Interesting.
Perfect. Now every set going forward will be draftable.
So that was the fix for sets 1 and 2.
Right. And
Got it.
set 3 sadly isn't draftable, but is a better sealed set. But starting with set 4, everything should be draftable. Moving on. The game itself is pretty well designed. I really enjoy playing it. It has good amounts of depth. The depth in the game, though, really is in deck building, which I think is why I think that's the itch it scratches for Matt Coles and Peter Budensick and Mark Johnson, aka Mo Bogsley, and Matt Coles and Roger Bodie. Like all these people play Alpha Clash and show up to the major events. Chris Brummett. And I think that their enjoyment comes because the deck building puzzle is strong and very interesting to try to think through. The gameplay itself is very easy to learn. I don't think it's nuanced less so than Star Wars, but it still has enough of it so that it has a mastery to it of knowing when to go. Like watching Ian Schaefer, again, a very good Flesh and Blood player, just on camera miss lethal because the game has so much going on that he just literally missed it. He still won the game. Fine. But when I talked about it later, I'm like, "So is there something you're playing around, that you miss lethal at?" And he's like, "When I miss lethal," I pointed out, he's like, "Ah, fuck, no, I just missed it." And I'm like, "Okay, well, it's easy to see from, that side of the camera too. So, and I know, I have information on your opponent's hands and blah, 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 blah." Yeah, he's trying to, soften the blow a little bit. But yeah, like, good players still miss things. It's got a level of variance, but it's smoothed out by having every card can be a resource. But since it's color locked,
I think that will be the fix going forward for every TCG. I think several games, Flesh and Blood included, I think have fixed the whole archaic, like Pokemon Energy system and Magic Land system. Like those are a thing of the dodo birds now, I think.
So I would put Alpha Clash in that A tier. I don't think it's S tier yet. It maybe will have the potential at some point in time, but it is definitely something that a lot of very good card game players have picked up and enjoyed. They are suffering from distribution issues right now, and I think that has hampered them quite a bit in people not being able to get a hold of the game to play it and kind of build a community with. But like the communities that are out there and that have like been able to acquire product and build are thriving. So it does have some legs going forward. I know a lot of people are talking about, like they used to talk about Flesh and Blood, where it's like, "Oh no, it's just a money grab," or this, that, or the other thing. It's not a real game. And yet, as you said, there are real players picking the game up.
Yep.
And I think it was Matt Coles that told me when we was talking to him, he's like, I play Star Wars because I'm good at it. I play, or because it's free, I think is what he said. I play, yeah, absolutely. But it's getting resurrected. I play Alpha Clash because I want to, and I play Flesh and Blood because the team makes me. I think is how he said it, which I laughed at. I thought that was really funny.
I just
All
pulled
right,
this up
let's.
because I not that I want to stop us
It's
chatting with
coming
Clash,
back.
but we got more coming, and I don't want to.
Yeah,
So
I think it's coming back.
this I backed the Kickstarter. Full disclosure, I have some stuff coming, but I never played this when it was in its old form, but I saw it at a lot of LGSs when
I
I was
liked
growing up.
Warlord.
So
Yeah. Uh, so let's go. Let's go to our big four, right?
can
Well,
I throw
put
a
that in the
special
throw that in the S
special
tier.
mention
Throw
in
that
here
shit in the
real
S
quick?
tier. Yeah,
I'm
throw that
gonna
shit in the S tier.
I'm gonna put my boy up here because
Yeah.
that is the special honorable mention, and then I'm gonna jokingly say this was Jar Jar
Oh,
Binks
Young
made
Jedi. It needs to go in the garbage, wherever the garbage is. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
Dead Nope Zone is the best one for Young Jedi. God, that game was so bad.
There were so many. Like this was I think this was the Wizards of the Coast
That's
one,
the
which was
Demazi one. Yeah,
this one
that's really
was
bad.
yeah that was like,
Dead Nope
this
Zone.
one was
Dead
the one
Nope
with the
Zone.
dice. I think this one was fun as
Oh,
fuck.
that's Destiny. Destiny was good.
No,
Seriously,
this was a different Star Wars. This was the Decipher, or not the Decipher. This was the Wizards of the Coast one that had the
oh,
dice. And
yeah,
like it was this weird combination of like you'd had to roll.
it
It
was
was like fucking
silly.
like playing Tyranids where I'd roll like
Mhm.
a bajillion fucking dice to play. So
Yeah, no, 100% true.
all right, and then the last
Uh,
honorable mention here is Nostalgics because that is a game that they do actively go to conventions. I'm not really sold on it just yet, but
No.
I think it's going to have stuff. I bought there's 2 booster boxes and some starters. The wife really wanted one particular thing. I'm going to go grab it by the end of this, but there is a backpack that's like this blue dude, and I use it for D&D, and it's the cutest little fucking frog looking thing. And if it wasn't for that, I literally wouldn't own a single card. But the
That's fair.
only way to get the backpack was to buy the product.
All right.
So, anyways, all right, we're on the top 4. So, where do you want to start?
Let's start with Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm gonna put it in not for me right now.
Not for me.
Not for me. It is. I just don't understand the appeal at all. And yeah,
I bought an
can't.
Exodia set when I was at Origins, by the way, because I was buying some of the old original stuff that I cared about. So I bought like an Exodia set. I bought a Blue Eyes White Dragon. I bought the Relinquished one just to have because it's just cards that I grew up with. But
Sure.
I don't even know how to play anymore. Like I don't.
It's not. It doesn't hit the nostalgia button for me. It's just not something that I care about.
I just wanted
And
those 6 cards or 5 or whatever. The five
Sure.
of the head pieces. Because honest to God, I shit you not, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an altar in Flesh and Blood for Nitro Mechanoid where I have Exodia, and I'm going to have somebody fucking
That's
alter
actually
that,
really cool.
and I'm going to use it under Nitro Mech.
Yeah, I just had Mara do it. But okay, so Pokemon's where we're gonna go next. And
Okay.
so I'm gonna full disclosure. I have never played a game of Pokemon in my life. I do not know how the game works. I know nothing about I don't know I know shit about fuck when it comes to Pokemon. I would still put it in the S tier.
I'm just going to go on a limb
Me-
and say that I have way too much Pokemon. I was going to start grabbing stuff, but I'm not. I'm just. It's not even worth me. But yeah, this is S tier. Is that what you said you wanted to put it in?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
put it in S tier regardless. And
Go ahead. Go ahead.
mainly because you look at the game and it's like indestructible. It will
is
never die.
indestructible. You know the only thing that sucks about Pokemon to me, and I will give the first negative indication, and I don't want to say it's negative in fab because I don't want to put that as the overall connotation. But as a set collector, as a person who enjoys set collecting, fuck me, Pokemon made it so damn complicated to complete a set with all the AI, alternate, double star, triple star, fucking foil variant, like it's Magic Strixhaven bullshit 17 version of a single card that I can't figure out. And in order to purchase enough product to complete one set, you might as well pull out a 401 or whatever it's called, a HELOC on your house, if you even own an asset, and fucking use
line
that.
of credit.
Yeah, so I love Pokemon, but fuck, man, they have changed the ability for me to just be like, let's enjoy, like back even in Evolutions. This is an older pack now. Like this is from what 2017. This is before they did that. Like everything you can get is in one pack. Well, there's a Leia sleeve, by the way. I just randomly found, but
That's good.
you know, that's my only gripe with this because I have base set completed. I have Jungle completed. I have Fossil completed. I have all the, like, most of the original sets done because I've been collecting them for years. But you get into some of these newer sets like Chilling Reign, and we opened up 30, 40 boxes, and I still couldn't complete a fucking master set. And I was like, nope, we're done. I'm stopping spending money on this. So that's my only rant.
Right.
I'm done. My soapbox, I am off, but that was where I had to go there. So, and that leads me to Flesh and Blood,
Okay.
which, in my opinion, very biased, but I love this game. It is an S tier for a lot of reasons, and I will put that way above.
So do you want your reasons first, or you want my reasons first?
Let's go with you. You're the guest. I will begin with you.
So I also am S tier on this game.
Okay.
The reason is it is legit the first time that a card game did something completely different
Correct.
since 1996. Like,
They found a way to rub the Magic 8 Ball.
they found a way to play cardboard rectangles in a way that had never been done before, and made it a compelling experience for the player. And LSS, I mean, I give them a ton of credit because their focus has been since the jump to that the player experience is the single most vital and important part of the game, and they've never strayed from that,
including the LGS presence.
Correct.
And now they're bolting on the convention presence, which thank God they are, because I was yelling to the clouds 2 years ago.
I have been for 2 years. I have been for 2 years, man. Like, I get it. And it's to me, the genius of Flesh and Blood will always be that they inverted the pyramid. They made it a card game where you start your strongest and weaken throughout and have to find a way to win. So it's a fighting game.
Correct.
And they found a way to limit variance without eliminating variance, which has kind of been the Gottlieb influence recently. Because before, it really was the best player was going to win 98% of the games. So it's kind of started to feel like, why don't you just play chess? But
interesting. Okay.
They did a good job of pivoting to where more variance, but still limiting it, was vital to the game, because that's how you grow. Is people have to feel like even when they're starting out that they can win.
Got it.
And so that's a growth mechanism, but you still are probably 90% your best players win, which is a game that is skill testing. But it's really hard to argue that have they done everything right? Absolutely not. But have they listened to every stitch of feedback they've ever received and tried to make it so that they were going to do it right? Yes, they have. It's really hard not to put it up there with the best of the best, because honestly, they did it. They reinvented the fucking wheel, and there was something better than round.
Yeah. And I'll continue that statement by saying that when you're hearing content creators on the internet that are in different genre verticals that have jack of shit to do with the things you typically interact with, in my case, Flesh and Blood, Magic, and others, but like when you hear other creators that are in these bigger ecosystems and they're giving it a try because they're hearing it's good and they're enjoying it, and they're typically not the target audience, right? It means that there's something more to this, and that this is still the blooming of the thing. And everyone gave this game a lot of bullshit in the beginning, I think, because everyone tried to compare it to Magic the Gathering, which honestly was lightning in a bottle, and I don't know a better way to word that. But there was no way to recreate this day and age. You will not have a Black Lotus in any other game, for myriad of reasons, from 5-player color Magic to I didn't play with sleeves to there was no such thing as grading back in the day, or whatever. You know, I'm sure there kind of was, but like all those myriad of reasons to where the kids butterfingered their cards, whatever. Today, a high-end card like an Eye or whatever, or a Heart of Findel will come straight from a pack with white gloves into a thing, into a grading, and it'll be a 10, right? There'll be population of 10. There'll be, 9s, 10s, 8s, whatever. You're not going to find 4s, 3s, 2s, half bent, ripped, fucked up cards, because that's not the world we live in. Sleeves are everywhere. People treat their cards much better. So there was lightning in a bottle with that. So from that perspective, and whatever, from the collectability, you're never going to recreate Magic. And I think that was the unfair advantage that people were trying to compare Flesh and Blood to, and it was just not fair. From a gameplay perspective, there is no such thing as a dead hand in Flesh and Blood. Like, I
Right.
don't know how to tell this to anybody. Obviously, I'm speaking to you, and you understand this. But to the person on the other side of the computer screen listening to this in the future, I cannot tell you how many times I played the first game of Commander Magic literally last weekend with a friend who I was teaching Flesh and Blood to. So I taught him Flesh and Blood. We played a 2-hour game. I enjoyed the shit out of it. We went to play a fucking Commander game, and I played Degenerate Slivers, because apparently that's the pre-constructed deck I had. And the first 5 turns, I was like, I drew a land, I played something, I drew a land, I played something, and I'm like, I can't play anything because I have 4 CMC cards, and I waited 3 other turns because I kept playing lands, but I didn't have the right mana fix, and I couldn't do shit. And turn 5, I finally got the one thing, and then I just basically barfed my hand on the table, and within a turn, I did 75 damage, because I was able to like double stack, and then I had a sliver that couldn't block, and basically he was like, oh, you might win, and I'm like, I don't think I am. I felt like, because I was getting knocked down, I was getting beat up. He was built, he had like 50 things on the board. It was just a feels bad all around. But in Flesh and Blood, I could have at least pitched a card. I could have played a different train. I could have purposely played a bullshit card to get rid of it out of my hand, or arsenaled something to get the ability to draw more cards.
Blocked.
Overblocked, right? People don't even think that is a fucking valid option. It is the valid option. I can overblock just to get rid of the shit from my hand, which is another step in the game that people don't realize is a advanced tactic, right? If you don't like your first hand, well, on first turn, makes no sense, right? Because second player will get to draw up. But, if it's your first player, you could just block the whole thing. And again, you'll draw back up, I think, to be able to do that. So it's like there's elegance in things that people don't consider. Now, from the collectability standpoint, I will say the one piece I am a little bit pissed about, and this is a me problem, not a grander scope problem. As a set collector, it is now impossible for me to do a set collection when cards exist like the one of one, this new Enigma hero, the Emperor card, the sketch cards. If I classify those as things which I basically have just in my head written off, if I'm making a set, which I have a Dynasty set I'm building behind me, I'm just going to know I'm going to have the young version of the Emperor, but I'm never going to have the fancy pants one, because that's just not in my realistic budget, time, effort, and energy. And that's fine. But at the same time, can I really say I collected the whole set? Like, at what point does that become... So it's a me bitch, but it's like a polite, like, it's a first world problem, but I don't know how to word it in any other way than it feels bad, because now I know I can never obtain that 100% mark like I like to do in RPGs. So
right, yep. And yeah, I mean that's not a problem with the game.
Nope, it's not.
And
there's plenty of other things to collect though. Crack baubles, good example.
Sure, but if LSS was doing something stupid and making, like, let's say a chase card that is mechanically unique. Nice. I love it.
That was mechanic.
It does. That was mechanically unique. That was also super rare. Yada yada yada.
You mean Blaze, the promo?
But that won't be.
It won't be. But currently, it does,
is right now.
It does lean a little bit toward the weird problem, but I don't see it being a long-term issue.
Yeah, it's a Blitz hero, and Blitz is not super supported.
No, but as a UPF player, that's a great card. That's why I'm going to, at Gen Con, that's the only reason I'm playing the event, is I'm hoping they'll let me have the promo and I can just say, hey, drop, you win. Thanks, buddy. Like, I'm not going to want to spend the time. Not that I don't want to play the game, but Gen Con's not for me to sit down and play games. Or at least not the game that I know how to play.
Card games, right. Not something that I play on a regular basis. I need to try shit.
Yep.
I need to do different things.
But I need that promo, and that is the only way to get that promo.
That's right. Right now. But,
currently, yes.
Which leaves us with Granddaddy.
Yeah, I got thoughts on him, but I'll let you go first.
So there's no way that you can't put Magic in the S tier. Sad but true. Now, here's the thing, right? I'm going to put Magic in the S tier, but now I'm going to downgrade it based on the last 5 years of Magic.
The confusion.
Right.
The confusioning.
Right. So I would put it behind Flesh and Blood right now. Even though it's, and obviously there's a lot of bias to that, but I played Magic actively from 1996 until 2021. That's 25 years that I played this game. I played competitively, at least to some degree, from 2000 until 2019. I played thousands of games of Magic. I I own tens of thousands of Magic cards. I have more hours playing Magic than probably anything else in my life outside of work, outside of like my actual job. Magic from effectively 2007 ish, and a lot
Onslaught,
of people
Legion,
don't.
Scourge era would be right around that, right? That was my
No,
heyday.
no, Onslaught Legion Scourge would have been 2001.
Oh, okay.
Um, so 2000 is Invasion Plane Shift Apocalypse.
Oh, okay.
Was the fall set. Onslaught Legion Scourge would have been the fall set for 2000. No, 2000. Yeah, 2001 should have been right. 2003 would have been Mirrodin. So 2002 would have been no, 2002 would have been Onslaught Legion Scourge. 2001 would have been Odyssey Torment Judgment.
I
So,
got out of Time Spiral, by the way. That was when I stopped. I think it was either Time
sure.
Spiral or what was
Time Spell been
the ice set that they lost and they found
Cold
again?
Snap.
Cold
Yeah,
Snap.
Cold Snap.
That was kind of
It was
my exit, and then I got back in at M21.
yeah, so I played pretty continuously through all of that. Um, I played in I cashed Grand Prix. I was quite a good limited player. Drafting Magic was awesome. I still do it. I still log onto Arena and draft Magic every now and again. When somebody's like, "Hey, this draft format's good," like the new Modern Horizons draft format was actually really fun. And so I logged in and just crushed some people because reasons, and said, "Yeah, that's not bad." Or like when Cube is up in the Cube, and Cube is good. Like I'll go play Cube because it's older cards. I know what they do. But the reality of the situation is Magic has just grown to be a game not made for me. That's the easiest way to put it. And I can't stress this enough. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with that. It just so happens that because of the stilt that's taken towards your secret layers and your
Assassin's Creed.
yeah, the crossover world stuff, and then
40K.
somehow simultaneously printing it to be more collectible but making the game less collectible,
Mathematically.
and then leaning in on things, on digital assets, things like Arena. That's not for me. The best part of Magic was always the community I was around, and especially like the Iowa Magic community was insanely good. We had so many good people and so many people to hang out with and have fun with. I still, when I go to like Armory or whatever, and there's a Magic event happening that has all my old Magic buddies there, I still hang out with them because they're great. I love them. And not every Magic community was as blessed as that, right? Like there was a lot of really shitty ones, but we had a good one, and I miss it. I really do. But at the end of the day, when Magic started making a lot of these changes, they nullified Standard as a paper format. They kept breaking everything by just printing shit that should never have got out the door. Yeah, it turned into something that just wasn't for me anymore. And like I said, that was fine, but that was when I discovered Flesh and Blood. So without Magic doing that, I also wouldn't have found the next chapter, right? And so I'll always be thankful for that. But that's why, while it goes in the S tier, there's no question that it belongs there. I wouldn't put it as the top of the S tier right now.
I would say for me, looking at the set releases, I found the Wikipedia for this. I didn't start playing Magic in 97, 98. I think I began in the 2000, which correlates to my schooling years for probably high school. because if I remember right, I graduated in '06, which is corresponding to when the end of what it appears to be is Cold Snap and Time Spiral. And then after
Hmm.
that, I was in college, just didn't dick with it. But I mean, honestly, my fondest memories were like my Goblin decks and Onslaught, Legion Scourge with cycling, the Darksteel with the the cycle or the the artifacts and Infinity. Kamigawa had a blast in that set. I must have totally skipped the whole 2005 and 6 era because I don't remember any of that Guilds of
Don't remember
Ravnica.
Lorwyn. Don't remember.
Nope, none of that shit.
Yeah.
But I got back in Time Spiral because I was like, oh, cool, they're bringing back something old. And then I skipped for like many years. And then somehow or another, I like jumped back in right around the Ixalan because of dinosaurs. Then I stopped. And then I jumped way back in at, I think it was War of the Spark, Throne of Eldraine, Ikoria for Godzilla. And we bought so much of that shit, I can't see straight. I literally lost my ass buying
On
collector
Ikoria?
boxes. Yeah, because we were trying to get a full, again, set collecting. This is where
Yeah,
the
yeah.
error, the 404 not found, problem occurred because I lost my mind because we were trying to get the full Godzilla set. We were trying to get everything, the alternate arts and everything, and then come to find out they ban half the good cards. So essentially that like probably, I don't know, $3,000-4,000 we dropped into those boxes is worth a grand total of like maybe $400 at this point, right? Like it's
Right.
invertedly so bad I've lost my ass. Now, if I would have at that time put that money into something else, it would be worth something. So I am bitching a lot about the dollar amount of Magic, but I also found that I no longer was able to play. I played a little bit of Commander, but I wasn't buying the high end cards, and I had a lot of stuff. At one point, I owned Power, I owned Gaia's Cradle, I owned all these other things, and I've sold those assets since. I also sold my dual lands. I got rid of all that stuff. And I still have tens of thousands of cards like you say you have. Like I have so many cards I can't see straight. The problem is that there's a competitiveness to the locals when you talk about CEDH level and Rule Zero and all these other things that to me just like planeswalkers, and if you don't play this archetype or they don't want to play if I play slivers, like bullshit that is to me beyond like the realm of things I care about. But I'm like, look, bro, this is a pre-constructed deck. If you're not willing to play against a pre-constructed deck, then why the fuck would I buy anything else? Like,
Right.
I'm gonna whatever.
Walk away.
So that was my big problem with it is I couldn't find a community that I jived with really well. And then anecdotally, I have a friend that still plays pretty hardcore now, and I have an Assassin's Creed box sitting over here. He opened the other day on camera for me, so I didn't have to spend it, but he spent obviously $300 or $400 I think on the Assassin's Creed collector box, right? And when I was looking through it, I was so confused with what he pulled, but I think at the end of the day, right, he got maybe 50% of the value of that box. So like
Right.
it was an opening losing lottery ticket system, and that to me sucks. Which again, buy singles, right? That's the whole mantra that the professor's always been touting. And while Magic is, I still think, obviously a behemoth that's an S tier, it's going to exist. It's never going to go away, even though I think that the management is horrible. I think that the direction of taking the game is atrocious, and I really don't care if my, in-universe characters have, Rick from The Walking Dead and My Little Pony and all that. I could care less if I'm playing against Transformers or whatever. It's not the greatest, right? It's going to take, or Doctor Who, it's going to take me away from the atmosphere that is Magic. But the thing I noticed is looking through the guy's binder when I was like, oh, I used to play with this card. And then I keep flipping, and then he's like, well, that's the same card. I'm like, no, it's not. Oh, yeah, it's the same name, but the artwork is some, secret layer
A movie
special
poster,
edition
right.
that I'm like, I would have never recognized that. So that makes the game much more complicated to play, much more harder for me as a person that memorized the name, the CMC, the text, and the photo, and I could recognize that across the table. Now it's all madness.
Right. And I ran into the same problems any number of times too, where it's just this doesn't look like a Magic card.
And that, yeah, what does a Magic card look like? Well, to me, everything up to about the old, whatever they switched from the old border to the new border. What do they call that? The
modern frame.
yeah. That to me, I mean, it's still Magic. Don't get me wrong. They're not all bad, but like,
Yeah.
I remember that Onslaught Legion Scourge. That's like hit me in my vein. Just give that.
Mhm.
I mean, if I still had those boxes, I mean, that would be something I'd love to sit down and draft with somebody because
Hell of a draft. Yeah.
those were
Onslaught
fun-
Legion Scourge
fun
is a good
times.
draft. Yeah. Invasion Planeshift Apocalypse is my favorite draft format of all time for any game.
Braids Cabal.
Full stop. That was Odyssey.
Well, that was
Yeah, that was
What
Odyssey.
what am I missing?
Invasion
here?
Planeshift Apocalypse is going to be like Urza's Rage and the Domain Dragons.
Were those the ones that
and-
had the dual color? Like this is the first, like one of the first times they did like
one of the first
two-
times they did enemy colors.
Yeah.
So it was Apocalypse.
Because they had the
And-
charms and stuff, the dragons. I
Yeah,
remember the dragons.
Dromai's Charm and Dromar's Charm and Chromai's Charm and
I kind of wonder if Uprising was based around that set. Like if you think about
Probably. Yeah, Croesus the Purger, Dromar the Banisher,
it. Kukushko the Morning Star. I remember that. That was a
Evening
champion, like
Star,
comic.
Yosei the Morning Star,
That was another one.
and then Kokusho the Evening Star, Ryusei the Falling Star, Jugen the Rising Star.
I was hoping, by the way, Zen and Fab would have been like the Summon Dragon, kind of like, Mortal Kombat. Like it just, dragon pops out and it's like a
Taiga the TriStar.
Yeah.
The TriStar. Again, I'm trying to go through all these right now because it's like Croesus, Dromar, Daragaz the Igniter, Rift the Awakener, and Treva the Rendewer. Those were the 5. It's sick that I remember that 25 years later. Fuck me. But
the lore is deep. Well, the lore used to be deep. I don't know if they do much lore anymore.
They kind of do, but they don't. Not great.
Hashtag more Fab lore.
Please, yeah. Like, Jesus Christ. That just needs to happen.
We're working on the whole revive. Like, this may end up at some point morphing more back into. I had a Fablorian podcast I was doing at one point with Riddler Man. And then I talked to Alex, and he really likes the lore, and it sounds like you like the lore. I might just have to get a bunch of us on and start doing some rotating like lore conversations, because like I feel like there's a lot of things we could talk about, but there's only so much at the moment. But I'm really hoping more lore comes, because
I mean, I think it's important, and I think they definitely are being very careful to curate it, just because they don't want it in the wrong hands.
Wrong hands. Interesting. Okay.
Well, honestly, I think they're very protective of the world and the characters, and
that map's gonna grow, buddy. That's gotta.
Yeah, they're going to, and I feel like that they're going to continue to be pretty protective of it because it's the backbone of their game, and they get that.
Yep.
And because they get it, I think that's what's stalling the PvE. To be honest, I don't think it's definitely not the gameplay. They already know the gameplay, but the PvE has to have a story. And I think that that's what's stalling it, is they just haven't they haven't made it to a compelling story that fits their lore, and that's why it's stalled. That's again, no knowledge or forethought, just that's what makes sense to me. Let's page through it. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. This is my lore book, because I'm poor.
Oh, mine is right here.
I was marking this thing up to hell and back because I was trying to document some stuff, and
mine is still sealed, if you noticed.
Ooh, yeah. That's going to be a gem in later life.
Yeah, it's already worth way more than I paid for it. Let's put it that way.
I almost got one, but the deal fell through on the person I was looking to get it from.
Yeah, it just turned out that Green Tree in Pittsburgh had 3 of them. And I had a number in my head that I was willing to pay. I had a number that I wanted to pay. And then I had a number that I was willing to pay. And when I said, how much, John at Green Tree said the number that I wanted to pay. And I went, yes. No negotiation needed. I will go ahead and give you that many dollars.
I would imagine it's at least triple digit. I don't even know the exact number, but I'm sure it's at least in the triple digit range.
It is exactly the triple digit range.
That's good.
Yep.
I've been keeping an eyeball out on the Discord to try to look for one, but I don't want to
especially when they're
I don't want to pay for a sealed one. I just want one that's open that I can thumb through. Like,
I've considered buying another one that is open, that's just the book. Because I don't need the posters and everything else.
Oh, that's the full retail appreciation kit.
That's the full kit.
Ah, that has other goodies that are later in life hard to get.
Correct. So the foil posters and the 2-player mat and and then the book. So yeah, it has all of that stuff in it. And I have the 2-player mat loose, and I have a bunch of Iridex loose. So really the only thing I would care about is getting a book that's open. But I do care about it.
Definitely, there is a lot to collect in the game of Flesh and Blood. There's a lot to collect in a lot of games, but I have set my sights on collecting a lot of things in Fab, and That's my current goal is one of every hero.
Sure.
Shyana,
Well,
you know,
cold
easy.
foil.
I mean, yeah, I'd like to get one of every cold foil if I can, but like I don't think I'm gonna be able to get a Taylor anytime soon, right? And some of the new Brutus Judge things, like I don't know how I'm gonna afford to get those because like they're just very salty cost
Yeah,
wise.
they're up there.
But I have a Rudy. Woo.
All right,
Woo.
great. I don't give a shit.
I thought it'd be
Not for
more
me.
I thought it'd be more playable, but
Oh, it's not. You have to be at the sucking on the teat of PSA, right? Like that's the only way to make it playable.
I hope somebody like I hope they offer to do a PCG replacement because I'm never grading with PSA.
No, I would never grade a PSA. You couldn't pay me to. But
Well, I think that's going to kind of wrap up everything
yeah, you got
for
it.
what I got. I mean, I could probably continue to chat about more, but I think I'll do my traditional last question, which is any thoughts or comments that you'd like to throw out for any future viewers, and maybe give them some advice or good vibes or whatever you want to end with.
Yeah, like I said before, chase what makes you feel good. Um, don't don't press yourself to meet the expectation of others if you're not meeting the expectations of yourself. Just make sure that you are taking care of, and if that's through taking care of others, great. But you also owe it to yourself. So make sure you're taking care of yourself too.
Awesome. Well, this has been a fun episode.
3 hours and 45 minutes of recording time.
Well, we got some editing,
Yeah, there's some editing, yeah.
couple bathroom breaks and some various, intermissions, interludes. But we'll see what the final number comes to. But this will
Won't be short.
This will be the long record. So until
Wasn't the
next
goal,
time,
but
may your games be fun and your friendships grow. Cheers, my friend, and
cheers.
teach somebody something fun. So.
Thank you much.
And that wraps up the. Oh, hey, man, I'm dripping all over the mat. That's not good.
That'll happen.
Jeez.
That's a dustled on that. No one cares.